Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
These four mutated creatures are the overlords of the Roaring Side in the Southern Mountains. Usually in the Southern Mountains, they fought each other many times, but now facing this huge white wolf covered in blood, the four of them rarely let go of their old prejudices, because this area is their territory and the white wolf is the intruder. In the cruel nature, territorial competition and invasion often occur. Every time it happens, there will be blood and killing. Territory is the foundation for hunters to obtain food. Once the territory is lost, most species will become lonely ghosts wandering in nature. At that time, unless they rely on strength and killing again to occupy a territory again, they will only be able to make a living by poaching. Whether it is the white long-tailed hawk, the flying squirrel, the Siberian tiger, or the towering snow ape, they all have enough strength to regain their territory. But no matter which hunter it is, they will not give up their territory willingly. If you want to take it, you can only pave the way with blood. This huge white wolf did put a lot of pressure on them, but it wasn't enough to make them back down like this. The four strange beasts, all of which have fully reached the high-level king level, gathered together with the incomparable aura that had risen up now, and they were pressing towards Su Lin like a black cloud overwhelming the city. The purple lynx that dominated the southern mountain range back then, faced with these four high-level king-level beasts, would not really push it to a desperate situation, because any new species has a lot of cards. Once forced to a life and death situation, the power that can erupt cannot be underestimated. Roar, chirp, squeak, ah! At this time, the neighing sound of the four wild beasts reverberated wantonly in the forest, and the arrogance on his body was also enhanced by the neighing sound, becoming even more tyrannical. Every new species stared at Su Lin with a gloomy cold light in their eyes. The combination of these four high-level king-level mutant creatures is enough to fight against the purple lynx, but Su Lin didn't have the slightest fear, nor did he retreat in the slightest, because he came here to kill and eliminate species that would threaten the wolves in this area, destined to kill until blood fills the entire southern mountain range, because in the cruel nature, only blood and killing can make all species in this area deeply remember what fear and timidity are. This will also allow the wolves to completely rule the area faster in the next station kill. Without the slightest hesitation, Su Lin moved at full speed under the addition of the mighty original force. Even in such a complicated place in the southern mountains, his speed is more than 1,000 meters. The power of several times the speed of sound brought about the sound of air vibrating like thunder. Due to the brief contact and confrontation just now, these four high-level king-level mutant creatures have already seen the speed of the white wolf. Knowing the speed of the white wolf, they cannot match it. Therefore, the flying squirrel, the Siberian tiger, and the towering snow ape immediately gathered together to form a triangle defense that could deal with all kinds of attacks. At the same time, he mobilized all the senses of his body to the extreme, catching the trace of the white wolf, and the long-tailed hawk quickly soared into the sky, flying to a height of thousands of meters. It thought that no beast could reach this height in the sky. I also think that this altitude can guarantee its safety, because even if the purple lynx didn't use its natal talent and summon the tyrannical purple gold body, it would only be 700 or 800 meters high in one leap. It's just that this height is nothing in Su Lin's eyes. The first target he attacked was also this long-tailed hawk. This long-tailed falcon has a size of hundreds of meters, and it is the strongest existence of the four new species, in terms of size and breadth. Kill the strongest first. Relying on the speed of thousands of meters per second, Su Lin stepped on a huge rock with his thick wolf claws, and then jumped. The tyrannical force stomped on the rocks, and scattered them in all directions, directly leaping to a height of thousands of meters. In fact, after activating the power of origin, Su Lin can jump to a height of thousands of meters or even tens of thousands of meters, if he wants to. It's just that this time he was fighting to kill the long-tailed hawk, so under the control of his strength, he didn't leap too high. With the help of the anti-shock force of the leap, Su Lin charged into the air in the huge eagle eyes of the long-tailed hawk. There is obviously endless shocking surprise, because this is the first time it has seen a reptile on land that can leap to such a height. But soon the shock and surprise in his eyes were suppressed. After all, every new species that grows from the southern mountains has experienced many life and death struggles. Anyone who can grow to this point is not weak. The long-tailed hawk, who has witnessed the strength of the white wolf just now, knows that he must do his best to fight against the white wolf alone. So without the slightest hesitation, he directly activated its talent. The white light rising from those huge wings became more intense in an instant, and after a slight shock, endless gusts of wind rushed in. This is the A-level talent of the long-tailed falcon, Stormrage. As a bird in the sky, this talent matches itself very well, and it can be said to be like a duck in water. The talent of Stormrage can not only set off endless gusts of wind to kill opponents, but also gather powerful wind barriers to protect oneself. In addition, the talent of Stormrage can also be integrated into the power of the source, making it even more powerful. At this time, the gust of wind under the vibrating wings definitely surpassed any storm in the world. If the coverage is large enough, it is enough to uproot the densely packed towering giant trees in the southern mountains below. At this time, amidst the howling sound of the strong wind, it seemed like a knife attacking Su Lin. Every wisp of wind carries great lethality. This made Su Lin's eyes freeze, his hair all over his body exploded, and he entered the defensive battle. Once the thick hair enters the fighting state, it is difficult to break even the strongest technological killer of human beings ever. This knife-like gust of wind blew through Su Lin's hair, and there was a sharp and piercing sound of metal scratching. The sound was extremely difficult to hear, and the range in mid-air was farther, and the sound could be heard in a full radius of tens of kilometers. This has caused many species within a range of tens of kilometers to have their eardrums traumatized by the harsh sound. Many species are also shivering and hiding in caves, not daring to show their faces. After all, it was just the sound of the two sides fighting which traumatized them. Once they went out, they might not be able to survive for even a moment under the aftermath of the wanton energy. At this time, the windstorm talent of the long-tailed hawk did not cause the slightest trauma to Surin, and under the wonderful use of vigorous mental power, Su Lin's huge wolf body walked on the ground in mid-air and rushed towards the long-tailed falcon, again with the sound of a sonic boom. The long-tailed hawk looked at the white wolf rushing towards him in mid-air, and a flash of shock flashed in his eyes again, but it was only fleeting. Because of such a miraculous scene at the beginning, the purple lynx also staged it. Chirp. At this time, after the long-tailed falcon hissed, its wings shook again, and at the same time, the power of its original source rushed towards the gust of wind that gathered again. With the blessing of the original power, the talent of Stormrage has become more powerful. While the long-tailed hawk continued to rise upwards, it was also frantically running its original power and windstorm talent to directly fuse the gathered wind into a storm vortex with a length of hundreds of meters. There is still a majestic original force in this storm vortex, and the surrounding space seems to vibrate and distort during the rotation. It's like the roaring filial piety of the nine ghosts. The storm vortex gathered nearly half of the original power of the long-tailed hawk, and then directly brought the power that could destroy mountains and headed towards Su Lin, who was carrying clouds of sonic booms. The power of the storm vortex is hard to resist for new species of the same level. Even the purple lynx back then couldn't resist the damage of the storm vortex. After all, the ultimate king-level purple lynx does not rule the roost by defense. At this time, under the attack of the long-tailed hawk with all his strength, Su Lin did not stop. Just as he was about to approach the storm vortex, his light blue wolf eyes turned dark blue in an instant. Serious Xiao'er talent activated again. In fact, the power of this storm vortex was not seen by Su Lin, because even if he resisted the storm vortex, Su Lin would be broken at most and suffer some minor injuries. With the healing talent, these injuries can heal in a few breaths, but Su Lin took a fancy to this storm vortex. Nearly half of the original power of the long-tailed falcon is impressively condensed in it. Such a majestic original power represents a huge amount of pure energy and evolutionary value. An earth-shattering wolf howl exploded in mid-air. A pattern of serious howling at the moon with starlight also appeared in the sky, and the bright starlight it emitted seemed to compete with the sun. At such a close distance, the power of Sirius Xiao'er was fully displayed. Under the blessing of the original power, the all-pervasive sound waves of howling wolves rushed towards this storm vortex like a sea tide. Boom! The sound wave of Sirius Xiao'er hit the storm vortex at 10 times the speed of sound in an instant, and there was a roar like a nuclear weapon destroying the world. The collision between the two parties once again set off a very violent sound wave energy cloud. Since this sound wave energy cloud exploded in mid-air, the scope of its impact was even wider than the sonic duel in the mountains just now. The aftermath of the sound wave energy cloud swept across an area of dozens of miles. In an instant, countless new human beings who were blind and who had not yet left under the lure of huge profits also fell again. In an instant, it was evaporated into a blood mist. Even Kun Sen, who was driving a perfect level mech and was still filming at the edge, felt some pain in his internal organs under the aftermath of the energy, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but trickle of blood overflowed. But fortunately, these energy aftermaths are still within the tolerance range. After all, Kunsen's strength has also reached the edge of being promoted to a new species, which is far from comparable to other new humans who came here under the temptation of huge profits. Now Kunsen is watching the Arctic Wolf King and the long-tailed hawk falcon who are fighting fiercely in mid-air from tens of miles away. and there is endless longing in his eyes, because why didn't he want to be able to fight all the mutant creatures in the entire southern mountain range, alone like the Arctic Wolf King? Can a word and a deed attract the attention of the world? So he has an endless longing for the improvement of his strength. The strong should be like this. At this time, Kun-sen was looking at the figure of the Arctic Wolf King in the distant sky. His eyes were full of longing, and he was secretly determined to work hard. And at this time, in the sound of other human beings, fleeing in panic in Kun-sen's longing eyes, at the center of the battlefield, Surin's howling moon finally shattered the vortex of the storm. The storm vortex burst into the air, and the energy flow and gust of wind instantly scattered and last. There was a duel between the S-level Sirius Xiaoyu and the A-level Stormrage talent, and the result didn't need to be guessed at all. Even if the long-tailed falcon poured nearly half of its original power into it, it wouldn't change anything. Whether it's talent, or the strength of Su Lin, and long-tailed falcon, the gap is too big. But after Surin roared and shattered the storm vortex, most of the original power contained in the storm vortex also began to return to the long-tailed falcon's body. But there was a gleam in Su Lin's eyes. He just used the sound wave of Sirius Xiaoyu to smash the storm vortex, and what he wanted was this original power. How could he allow it to return to the long-tailed falcon's body again without half of the original power? The fighting power of the long-tailed hawk would have been reduced by at least 30%, which is equivalent to breaking a wing. Come here. At this time, Su Lin didn't hesitate at all. All the vast spiritual power gushed out. The overwhelming spiritual tide cut off the connection between the lasting source power and the long-tailed hawk falcon body, and then wrapped up these source powers. They all came towards Surin. At this moment, Su Lin seemed to have activated the talent of swallowing whales. The billowing white original power of the long-tailed hawk was completely swallowed by the open mouth, under the sweep of spiritual power. After this rolling original power entered Surin's belly, it was quickly converted into evolutionary value and pure energy under the mysterious devouring power. One after another light gray message reminders also began to flash in front of Su Lin's eyes. Congratulations to the host for swallowing the original power of the white-feathered wind eagle and obtaining 35 evolutionary essences. Congratulations to the host for swallowing the original power of the white-feathered wind eagle and obtaining 34 evolutionary essences. Congratulations to the host for swallowing the original power of the white-feathered wind eagle and obtaining 33 evolutionary essences. Surin swallowed nearly half of the original power of the long-tailed hawk in one breath and obtained thousands of evolutionary essences. The pure energy converted into it is also quickly replenishing his consumption, especially the supplement to one's own original power. And the long-tailed falcon, which had been swallowed up by half of its original power, felt as if it had been severely injured the moment it was cut off by Su Lin's spiritual power. His body shook violently, and he spit out a mouthful of blood. All the internal organs suffered from internal injuries due to this severe injury, especially the white feathers behind him, which symbolized the power of the source, fell half directly. Chirp! This caused the long-tailed hawk to howl miserably, and the howling sound instantly resounded throughout the sky. In those huge eagle eyes, there is also a strong killing intent and hatred rising from Sinhan, half of the original power. You must know that the power of origin is different from physical strength. In addition to devouring a large amount of pure energy to replenish it quickly, relying solely on time to recover, the time will be unimaginably long. Therefore, all new species will not use the original power unless they can use it. But now it directly lost half of its original power. This half of the original power, it does not know how much pure energy it has to devour to make up for it. At this moment, the idea of just wanting the white wolf to see its tyrannical strength and then expel the intruder away completely dissipated. And as the tyrannical killing intent emanating from the white wolf became stronger and stronger, the long-tailed hawk also knew that this was not a territorial defense battle at all. This is an endless battle of life and death. This white wolf came rushing to kill them. So under the severe injury and grief of losing half of its original power, the long-tailed hawk screamed in pain and began to mobilize the peak combat power of the whole body. War. At this time, there is only a battle. There are strands of white blood on the back of the long-tailed hawk which also began to overflow from the spinal cord in the body, and then spread all over the body. The long-tailed hawk knows that with its own conventional combat power alone, it is by no means an opponent of the white wolf in front of it. So amidst the frantic neighing, it began to burn its own source of life. In the burning of the source of life, its strength is also improving rapidly. But at this time, Su Lin's short-term air supremacy obtained by relying on spiritual power began to intensify the consumption. After all, his wolf body now weighs 200 to 300 tons. It is self-evident that he has to rely on his spiritual power to fight in mid-air for a long time, and he also needs to move at a high speed. The spiritual power is similar to the original power. Once it is consumed too much, if you want to replenish it. In addition to devouring the spirit and soul power of other spiritual mutated creatures, it would take a very long time to recover simply by relying on time. So Su Lin withdrew his vast spiritual and soul power, and the huge wolf body fell from mid-air, crashing to the ground, stirring up countless broken stones and fallen leaves. The fight between Su Lin and the long-tailed hawk in mid-air just now has been caught by the flying squirrel, the Siberian tiger and the towering snow ape, especially the scene where Su Lin directly crushed the storm vortex of the long-tailed eagle falcon, and then the whale swallowed half of its original power, already made the three of them feel the overwhelming pressure. So the Siberian tiger, the flying squirrel and the towering snow ape, without any hesitation, activated their strongest talents in an instant, and rushed towards Surin, who had landed. The Siberian tiger started the A+ level raid. This talent is equivalent to a weakened version of the hunting talent, except that the increase is not as good as the hunting talent, and the speed and strength will get huge bonuses under this talent. The wind follows the tiger, the cloud follows the dragon. The Siberian tiger's already extremely fast speed and attack have become even faster. While moving at full speed, it broke through double the speed of sound, and even vaguely reached nearly 3 times the speed of sound, nearly a kilometer. This speed is already half that of Su Lin. Under such a speed attack, the shadow of Siberia arrived before the sound came. Boom. Fly towards Surin with one blow. I was stuck at the moment when I just landed. It has to be said that the Siberian tiger is the king of the jungle, and the timing of its attack is very accurate. Su Lin didn't have time to dodge, but there was endless ferocity in his eyes. An earth-shattering wolf howl sounded again. The phantom pattern of Sirius Xiaoyu also flashed in the sky again. At the same time, the original power all over his body abruptly rose several meters again, but this sound of Sirius Xiaoyu just defeated the flying squirrel who was flying over, and wanted to cast a weak curse on Sulin. The towering snow ape and the Siberian tiger, however, still resisted the aftermath of howling wolves, and rushed towards Su Lin forcefully. The towering giant ape has also activated an augmentation talent. It's just that this talent increases strength and defense. Pung. At this time, Su Lin stood in place and went head-to-head with the Siberian tiger and the towering giant ape for shopping. The sharp wolf claws popped out completely and collided with the Siberian tiger fiercely. As for the power of the original source, it also gathered behind a silver barrier, resisting the attack of the towering snow ape. It's really 1 against 3. And even more than that, the long-tailed falcon in the air, which had already been burning with the source of life, also came towards Su Lin with overwhelming hatred and killing intent. The long-tailed falcon has unlocked a new talent, a level talent, Bright Soul. The talent of light fighting soul is extremely against the sky, and it has the same effect as Nighthawk's talent Master of the Night. The Lord of the Night is an extremely powerful bonus in the night, like a ghost in the night, and the battle spirit of light is impressively under the light, possessing an extremely powerful bonus, and both breath and figure can be integrated in the light. When the sun is really shining, and the sun is high, this talent's bonus to itself is no less than that of ordinary S-level talents. After turning on the talent of the Bright Soul of War, he also has the burning source of life. At this time, under the superimposition of the increase in talent and the source of burning life, the arrogance and combat power rising all over the body of the white feather eagle, already have 70% of that of the purple lynx back then. It can be seen that these 4 new species that dominate the southern mountain range are starting to fight for their lives, especially the white feather winged hawk. Its killing intent towards Surin is far higher than the other 3 new species. Half of its original power was swallowed by Surin, unless the white wolf was hunted down. It would not be able to make up for its loss in this battle. Several new species are attacking Surin's deadliest weak point. The pair of sharp claws of the white feather eagle carried more than 30 meters of white original power, and went straight to the silver moon behind Su Lin that exudes strong silver original power for several rounds. There is a fierce cold light in its eyes. He wanted to destroy the rounds of silver moons that contained the original power of Su Lin with one blow. It's just that a majestic mental force soon formed an invisible barrier to block it. Boom. The violent impact sound and the stalemate fluctuations of billowing energy spread out from Surin as the center. 1 against 4. No matter in any fight, with Su Lin's current speed, it is very rare that there will be a real head-to-head confrontation with 4 opponents at once. The coordinated hunting of the 4 new species is enough to tear apart the stronger species in many cases. Even if the purple lynx faced such a killing situation, it would be difficult to get out of it. It's just that for Su Lin, this level of killing is not enough. Su Lin's hard power far surpassed that of the original purple lynx, and even 4 extreme king-level alien beasts could not push Su Lin to the point of desperation. At this time, as the howling sound of Sirius Xiaoyu ended, the peak combat power of his whole body emerged, directly and forcibly defeating all the attacks of the three new species. Especially the Siberian tiger was the most injured. Surin's sharp wolf claws left a terrifying wound on the chest of the Siberian tiger. You must know that Surin is fully twice the size of the Siberian tiger, and has 2-meter-long claws that cut almost half of his body from the Siberian tiger's chest. The tyrannical attack force made Siberia's huge body retreat like a shell. As for the towering snow ape and the white feather windhawk, who attacked from behind or from the air, they were also bounced away by the shock force. Under the powerful anti-shock force, traces of blood overflowed from the corners of their mouths. The flying squirrel that was hit by the sound wave of Sirius Zioio burst into flesh and blood, and the limbs and the flesh connected to the limbs were shattered a lot. An extremely miserable appearance, but Su Lin didn't have any signs of decline, except for the unmatched killing accident of the rising and burning wolf body. He watched the 4 new species move at full speed again. Originally, he wanted to kill the strongest white feather winged eagle directly, but it was shaken by the strong anti-seismic force, and it flew towards the midair. Moreover, it was extremely powerful, burning with the source of life, and soon it not only increased the distance, but also stabilized its figure in the inverted flight. This made Su Lin only look at the Siberian tiger with a cold light that must kill him. He wants the lives of these 4 new species. At this time, due to the vibrations and energy fluctuations brought about by several shopping trips, all species in the entire southern mountain range have already noticed this place. Many species also felt the brutality of this war from the neighing sounds of the white-feathered wind eagle and Siberian tiger. This tragic fight has not stopped, and both sides in the melee are still moving and fighting. Especially the white feather winged eagle. It is obvious that the 4 of them teamed up are by no means the enemy of the white wolf. I want to make all species in the southern mountains feel the threat of this intruder rising like a sea of murderous intent through the battle. The white feather wind eagle believes that the new species that have emerged in the southern mountains all understand the truth that if one hurts, the other will suffer. In addition, the white-feathered wind eagle and other new species actually felt the vibration, roar and energy fluctuation of fighting and shopping more than 100 miles away last night, but they all thought it was just some powerful alien beasts in that area fighting and fighting. It is only now that I understand that this white wolf, who was covered in blood the moment we met, is probably the real instigator. And this white wolf that came from the north has not stopped even after killing for more than 100 miles. Its purpose has been clearly revealed. Potential in the entire southern mountain range. With such a big appetite, aren't you really afraid to stretch yourself to death? You must know that neither the invincible tiger nor the purple lynx dared to claim to dominate the southern mountains. So after realizing this point, Beiyu Fenying and others turned to fight and fled at the same time. The fight between the 4 new species and Surin soon spread to the territory of the other new species in the southern mountains. The IQ of these new species in the southern mountains is not inferior to that of human beings, and even higher than human IQ. After the falcons, flying squirrels, etc. were chased by the white wolves, they watched the white wolves invading the southern mountains and joined the fight without the slightest hesitation. Soon there were 9 new species participating in the hunt. Counting the 3 new species killed by Su Lin yesterday, most of the new species in the southern mountains have already appeared. 9 new species. There are 6 high-level kings and 3 ordinary kings. Even a 3-headed new king-level species has a lot of powerful cards. Otherwise, they have already been born with the power of the original source. If they don't have some cards for self-protection and fighting for their lives, they will have been hunted and killed by other new species as the purest blood food. It can be said that each of these new species is not easy to get along with. But even so, even if the mid to high-end combat forces in the southern mountain range, which is known as the forbidden area of the self, still failed to contain Su Lin's offensive and killing. At this time, the Siberian tiger, which was being taken care of by Su Lin, was covered in scars all over his body. No longer is there just a hideous and terrifying wound on the front chest, but there are **** wounds, cut open by wolf claws on the back and abdomen. In addition, the huge tiger head of the Siberian tiger was dented just now by Su Lin's claw. Blood and white brains are slightly overflowing from the tiger's head. Roar. Even if the new species has extremely tenacious vitality, facing such a heavy injury, the Siberian tiger can't help showing timidity in its eyes, because it can feel that under the repeated heavy attacks of the Arctic Wolf King, its vitality are rapidly passing away. The speed of vitality and chi and blood loss is beyond imagination. The Siberian tiger, who was originally a member of the tiger family, is a natural king in the jungle, and there is no shortcoming in comprehensive attributes. The vitality and blood are very vigorous, comparable to that of large herbivorous species. In terms of attack power, it is comparable to the bear clan. In terms of speed and physical flexibility, it is not inferior to mountain leopards and lynxes, so whether it is before or after the great change of the world, it always occupies the seat of the strong in the southern mountain range. Now its blood value has a full 20,000. This kind of blood value, combined with the defense of the Siberian tiger, is enough to resist the indiscriminate bombardment of human beings' top technological killers. But even the white wolf's 3 or 4 heavy blows did not resist. The Siberian tiger is so injured right now. In the fight just now, if it hadn't been helped by the other new species, it might have died. The attack power of the white wolf is almost unmatched. Even if it is a new species of its level, it feels like it will hurt and die when touched. At this time, the Siberian tiger was timid, and its attack was more than self-preservation, and it could no longer fight like it did at the beginning. Even Siberian tigers are looking for opportunities and want to retreat from the frontline battlefield of fighting white wolves. Because of the heavy injuries on its body, it is really impossible to support it to fight like this. But just when this thought came to him, the arrogance of the white wolf in the center of the hunt intensified again. In the hunting of 9 new species, not only did the white wolf not show any signs of decline, but it became more and more courageous as it fought. At this moment, the almost mighty aura on Surin Wolf's body was no longer suppressed, and it radiated out suddenly, spreading to a radius of hundreds of miles. All species that feel this aura of heavenly power will feel oppressed like suffocation. Even the 9-headed new species paused for a moment in this tyrannical aura that was almost heavenly. And after the huge Su Lin released his aura completely, the silver fluorescence emitted from his whole body was also extremely bright. The burst of silver fluorescent light seemed to cover the sun's brilliance, making the southern mountain range 10 kilometers full of silver. Su Lin originally had the original strength of more than 40 meters, and it was abruptly raised to the point of 70 or 80 meters. At this time, the energy fluctuations on Surin's wolf body reached an indescribable extreme. Another sound of serious howling at the moon. It's just that this time the sound wave of howling wolves has been enhanced by an unknown number of times. The power of this serious roaring moon is 4,000 to 5,000 tons, which shocked all the new species participating in the battle. Boom! An unimaginable sonic roar sounded. The all-pervasive sound waves swept through the already messy mountain range, lifting up a layer of rocks in the forest. Countless towering giant trees rose from the ground amidst the howling of wolves, and even strange trees were crushed, brutally brought up from the ground. Even if the roots of the different trees are completely rooted in the rocks, it is useless. Directly connected with the rhizomes, large deep pits were pulled out of the forest. Under the sound of serious howling at the moon, the mountains in the southern border seemed to be shaking. It's like an earthquake with at least a magnitude of 10 or more. In such a shock, Su Lin directly yelled that several new species that were fighting were seriously injured. Even the long-tailed falcon in mid-air was swept into the sky by the sudden sweep of the sound wave cloud that suddenly rose up, and the bodies of the rest of the new species were also directly blown away by the sound of serious howling moon, who knows how many meters away. The Siberian tiger, which has already been severely injured, has no power to resist. The tiger's body, which was more than 20 meters long, was like a fallen leaf, crumbling to pieces. The flesh, bones, etc. of the Siberian tiger are exploding. Even the tiger's head, which had been sunken, was even split open by the shock. White brains and blood splashed like money. Roar! The Siberian tiger's eyes were full of panic. It was trying its best to stimulate the remaining original power, trying to recover and contain the injury. But the injury caused by the sound of serious Xiao was too serious. Even the Siberian tiger activated its other 2 talents one after another. But the talent luminescence, which was originally the most able to contain injuries, was ineffective at this moment. After flashing fiercely for a moment, it shattered like fireworks in the sound waves of serious Xiao. The second talent, fluorescence, just appeared and then disappeared. The Siberian tiger, who was seriously injured to such an extent, could no longer support his body to activate his talent again. At this time, as the picture of the wolf howling at the moon in the sky is fully displayed, the power of the wolf howling sound wave has also reached the peak. At the moment when the power of the wolf howling sound wave was at its peak, the Siberian tiger's already scarred body could no longer hold on, and at this moment it collapsed into pieces in the sound wave. The extremely pure blood and visceral fragments of the new species fell from mid-air towards the blood-red blood rain below. And Surin, who had suddenly activated his hunting talent, and his eyes were already filled with scarlet, didn't waste any time after the Siberian tiger was shattered by a roar of serious roaring moon. He went straight to Manga. This flying squirrel possesses all kinds of unimaginable and can greatly weaken the opponent's combat power. In this fight, It caused great disturbance to Su Lin, so for the second target, Su Lin gave up on the towering snow ape, who was also seriously injured, and came straight to this flying squirrel. Boom! After turning on the hunting talent, Su Lin's speed became like teleportation. At 10,000 meters per second, the howling wind swept away the rocks and fallen leaves all over the sky. At this time, although most of the new humans who were following in the distance were frightened, they fled the battlefield. But there are still many strong new human beings who rely on their own strength and continue to explore. Most of these new human powerhouses are also driving first-class mechs, and they are also very cautious, watching the battlefield from a long distance, so they have not been seriously injured. At this time, the Siberian tiger, which is a high-level king, was smashed into mid-air by a living roar, and they all saw it. These new humans are all strong. With the help of at least first-class meshes to assist their vision, they can naturally see the battlefield more than 100 miles away. It's just that it's impossible to capture the supreme demeanor of the battle of the Arctic Wolf King, because all the shooting equipment released were destroyed by the sound waves of howling wolves. Even if they were more than 100 miles away, they could still hear the howling of wolves coming from the center of the battlefield. Amidst the howling of wolves, they could also feel the overwhelming combat power of the Arctic Wolf King. This is the world-extinguishing level alien beast. A wolf howl can forcefully smash a high-level king-level beast. You must know that this Siberian tiger is also more than 600 on the Alien Danger Index list released by the Science Alliance. More than 600 strange beasts died so easily in front of the Arctic Wolf King. And now, judging from the sudden increase in speed of the Arctic Wolf King several times, and the speed that has begun to be unpredictable, the new humans present all know that this may be the real peak combat power of the Arctic Wolf King. The 9 new species that fought alone just now are not its limit at all. In this way of thinking, all the new human powerhouses who are still present are increasingly aware of the importance of the Arctic Wolf King report. After all, with more data about the Arctic Wolf King, I can have better countermeasures when I really part ways with the Arctic Wolf King and the wolves in the future. Most importantly, once it is sold to major families and chaebols, it will be able to get a higher price. Sometimes, the fear of risk is just because the chips given are not enough. Therefore, after weighing the gains and losses, many new human powerhouses showed firmness in their eyes, and took the risk of being shocked to death by the aftermath of the energy to move forward again, and began to use the shooting equipment on the mecha to conduct remote filming. During the filming, the battle in the distance changed from a stalemate to a one-sided massacre in an instant after Su Lin activated his hunting talent. One after another, the blood of the king-level alien beasts stained the mountains and forests. The new species that survived soon also gave up their initial hatred and confidence in hunting white wolves, and began to scatter away with eyes full of fear. At this time, public opinion on the internet was still boiling, and the focus of the entire network was still on the wolves and the Arctic Wolf King. The news about the Arctic Wolf King has been buzzing for a long time, especially after the video of the murder of the Arctic Wolf King in the southern mountains was released. Everyone was shocked by it. The Arctic Wolf King's killing power and methods are not inferior to any mutant creatures of the world killing level, but fortunately, the members of the wolf pack did abide by the agreement these days and never slaughtered humans. Therefore, although the killing video of the Arctic Wolf King caused countless people to panic, it did not cause too much turmoil, and the Arctic Wolf King continues to kill in the depths of the southern mountains, which also attracts the attention of all human beings from all major forces. With the passage of time, coupled with the tracking and shooting of many new human powerhouses in the southern mountain range regardless of life and death, news about the Arctic Wolf King has also spread from the southern mountain range. New news: in the early morning of the 23rd, the Arctic Wolf King went deep into the southern mountains to fight against the white-feathered wind eagle, Siberian devil tiger, flying god mouse and towering snow ape. Latest news, followed by the dead men of the Hua-Fei family. On the morning of the 23rd, the Arctic Wolf King fought a battle with 9 king-level beasts. Shock: the invincible Wolf King went crazy. Following the Siberian devil tiger, he went mad with blood, and then chopped off the heavenly god rat, and the other 7 king-level beasts scattered and fled. The Arctic Wolf King is amazingly fast, and within half an hour of the chase, he killed the Siberian leopard, the towering snow ape, and the poisonous bee. These 3 king beasts ranked 513th, 629th, and 893rd on the list of mutated creature danger indexes respectively. In the middle of the night on the 23rd, the Arctic Wolf King killed the white-feathered wind eagle on the top of Mount Srainer. The white-feathered wind eagle ranked 179th on the list of mutated creatures in the danger index. and it is the existence closest to the ultimate king-level existence in the southern mountains. In the early morning of the 24th, the Wolf King beheaded the last 3 king beasts that fled, and all 9 king beasts that participated in the scuffle fell. After the news came out, it caused a huge shock in human society, slaying 9 king beasts in a row, plus the previous 3 king-level beasts. It can be said that after the Arctic Wolf King entered the southern mountain range, 12 king beasts fell in less than 2 days. Therefore, these 2 days were called the Days of Wang Yun by everyone in the entire network. The beheading of 12 king-level mutant creatures and 200 monster-level mutant creatures made the reputation of the Arctic Wolf King resound all over the world. Although the Arctic Wolf King and his wolves have never slaughtered humans, however, due to its astonishing combat power, the Science Alliance and the 6 major forces jointly decided to put the Arctic Wolf King, which was originally on the list of mutant creature danger indexes, directly into the top 10. As for the Arctic wolves, they were also mentioned 17th from the more than 50 in the group list. And about the 17th ranking of the Arctic wolves, it has once again caused a lot of controversy on the internet. After all, the fighting strength of the members of the Arctic Wolf Pack has been seen by everyone these days. The Arctic Wolves have at least a few king-level combat powers, and hundreds of monster-level mutant biological combat powers, plus nearly 10,000 alien species under their command. They have become a force that cannot be underestimated. And in just a few days, the size of the wolf pack is also expanding rapidly. So the ranking of 17 naturally made many people question it. However, after a short while of intense discussion, the direction of public opinion on the internet began to change under the manipulation of people with ulterior motives, and it became the theory of the threat of wolves. Among them, the daughter of the Hua Fei family, who is the most powerful of me, publicly said, "The Arctic wolves should not be in this ranking. We have analyzed the combat power of the members of the Arctic wolves, whether it is the invincible tiger, the white fox, the weird grizzly bear, and that the huge Arctic terns and others are powerful enough to destroy a city, and they can also stand up to several heavily armed heavy armored brigades. What's more, this is a group of alien beast wolves with a core command, can coordinate operations, and can do anything for the goal. So I suggest that whether it is private or official, the wolves must be positioned as the most important threat to me, even in today's cooperation period. Don't take it lightly." As a big family spanning the military, government, and business circles, the Hua Fei family aroused many people's responses once they spoke out. I agree. The Arctic wolves rank at least among the top 10, and they are still expanding rapidly. We can't sit still. I don't know what the officials think about joining forces with the Arctic wolves. Let's prepare for the battle in all aspects. We still have a chance to defeat the Arctic wolves now. I hope the officials will stop being obsessed. Isn't the scene of the Arctic Wolf King slaughtering the southern mountains in blood enough to wake everyone up? A strange beast is a strange beast. It is impossible to truly ally with humans, but the Arctic wolves didn't harm us humans. It's only been a few days. Who can see the long term? People who are not of our race must have a different heart. We must gather our previous confidence, and not be fooled by the little goodwill of the wolves. The Hua Fei family's speech set off a wave of attacks against the wolves on the internet. Even if some netizens spoke for the wolves, they were quickly submerged in the numerous remarks against the wolves. Many discerning people can see that the Hua Fei family does not have the slightest affection for this wolf pack from the depths of the Arctic. On the surface, it was because the eldest grandson of the Hua Fei family died in battle on the Arctic ice sheet, but the big man who is really at the top of the power of the ego knows that the outside world has spread the rumor that the Hua Fei family is in contact with the Theological Alliance. Naturally, the Theological Alliance will not just watch the mighty Arctic Wolf King and his pack of wolves join forces with me, because this adds too much difficulty to them who want to dominate all mankind. If it weren't for the powerful Hua Fei family, at least 1/5 of my economic lifeline would be controlled internally and externally, and after the great change in the world, the family formed hundreds of thousands of dead soldiers and private troops. And these hundreds of thousands of private troops are all elites, equipped with the most cutting-edge technological killers, and many of them are first-class mech fighters. So with such a tyrannical strength, even the officials of the Big Self dare not take action against the Hua Fei family easily, because without conclusive evidence, if you rashly attack the Hua Fei family, I am afraid that the whole self will be shaken by it. Now, facing the public opinion brought by the Hua Fei family on the internet, after thinking for a while, all the top leaders with all their strength hinted that the forces under their command would reduce the influence of the Hua Fei family through public opinion, but it didn't directly eliminate the Hua Fei family's remarks. After all, The Luofei family also controls many telecommunications and media companies. Once the means of power are used, it is bound to face the counterattack of the Luofei family. It will even be watched out for manifestations of guilt and fear, and will be publicized, so it's not worth the candle. After many powerful top figures finalized their strategies, the subordinates became busy again. Spokespersons of many powers and chaebols appeared on the internet again, expressing their support for this alliance with the wolves. At the same time, I appeal to ordinary citizens and new humans not to provoke wolves. After all, this is a group of strange beasts, who regard blood and killing as the norm, and the risk of provoking them is too great. Once out of control, I'm afraid there will be countless bloodshed. At this time, the public opinion on the internet began to change again after the other forces of the Great Self entered the arena one after another. Scholar of Southern Siberia, Tiasin, our research institution has been tracking the members of the wolves these days, and it is confirmed that the wolves have not actively killed humans. I think this kind of friendly behavior has already shown their attitude, and the wolves are still there. Helped me clean up so many mutated creatures, so I believe Evrion's eyes are sharp. Don't be deliberately led by others. Gadu satellite monitor, Xiao Di, don't worry, everyone, everything is under the monitoring of our monitoring department. I hope you will not go out unless necessary during this period, and protect your own safety. Specialist of the World Ethnic Research Institute Winston, the Arctic wolf pack ranks 17th in the ethnic group list. This ranking is very fair at present. After all, none of the previous ethnic groups are easy to get along with. As for the wolf pack, I don't think it's time to think about whether or not the alliance will part ways. At least the current wolf pack has helped me clean up countless mutant creatures that I used to have a headache for. I agree. One thing to say, after the wolves entered Siberia, they killed all kinds of mutant creatures with blood. The Arctic Wolf King even killed the 12 king beasts alone. Such a monstrous feat has never been achieved by human beings in the past few years of siege. However, I still feel that the 17th place of the wolf pack is a bit low. The Grey Wolf Pack in North America is ranked 13th. What can you do? After all, the Wolf King in the North American wolf pack is just the ultimate king. How can it be compared to the Arctic Wolf King? After several confrontations between the rest of my forces and the Luofei family, public opinion on the internet finally returned to normal. Many human beings once again set their sights on the ranking of the Arctic wolves on the group list. However, after discussing for a while, they all agreed with the current ranking of the wolves on the group leaderboard. After all, many of the ethnic groups at the top of the ethnic group list are too against the sky. For example, the snake group under the command of the bloodthirsty python has already multiplied to tens of millions by relying on the blood food of more than 1 billion human beings in India and sufficient resources. The theological alliance that the speedy golden wither belongs to has already expanded to tens of millions of people, and there are still many alliances of tyrannical beasts and mutant creatures. The cold-blooded megalodon sharks in the deep sea, according to the latest information, once swelled to tens of thousands of giant sharks, slaughtering and occupying the deep-sea area in the Indian Ocean. Needless to say, the swarm of giant Antarctic insects, the reproductive power of this insect swarm is against the sky to the extreme. It can almost be said to be endless. There are more than a dozen large insect nests in Antarctica alone, and the number of insects that can be born is as high as hundreds of millions. As for where the energy source for the birth of these insect swarms is, it has always been a mystery that has plagued all the investigation forces and the scientific alliance, because the infinite reproduction of the Antarctic swarm seemed to break through the law of energy conservation. In addition, there are different tree groups in the tropical rainforest, the Sea of Flowers with evil mandala spread over 300 miles, the strange group in the secret place of Tancha Lake and Chongbai Mountain of the Dragon Kingdom, etc., all of which are extremely evil groups. Even the North American Grey Wolf Group, after detecting more than 100,000 North American grey wolves, almost half of them have been promoted to alien beasts. Among them, the Wolf King is not the one in the rumors, but a total of 13 Wolf Kings. The 13-headed North American Wolf King of the ultimate king level, howling proudly in the sky and the earth, even if they are united. Even the world-destroying beasts have to avoid the edge. In addition, after the investigation by the Science Alliance, many wolves in this North American Grey Wolf group have shown signs of returning to their ancestors. The size of many wolves has become even larger, and the gene fragments of DNA are infinitely overlapping towards the extinct Kenai mountain wolf. Therefore, online public opinion has gradually accepted that the Arctic wolves, which are inclusive of all rivers, are ranked 17th in the group list. But most people ignore a fact, that is, the Arctic wolves grew up in a different environment from these heaven-defying groups. Looking at the species and resources of the entire Arctic, there may not be as many species, and resources in the tropical rainforest as there are in a small city in India, and the Arctic wolves, who got the Siberian plain. I am afraid that they will usher in a real golden period of development. Amidst the boiling public opinion among human beings, the battle in the southern mountain range gradually came to an end after several more days. In the past few days, Su Lin beheaded 2 more king-level mutant creatures, and then subdued 3 king-level mutant creatures by relying on the thread of his soul. So far, all the new species in the southern mountains have been completely wiped out, but in the last battle, Su Lin also suffered a lot of injuries, which were even worse than the battle with the purple lynx a few months ago. This is not caused by these king-level beasts in the southern mountains, but in the end, Surin, relying on his powerful senses and extreme vision, discovered a creature in the southern mountains that was completely composed of the essence of plants and trees. After Su Lin consulted the panel of the essence of plants and trees, he found that no grade was displayed, and the species only displayed the word elf. Other than that, there is no detailed data, but he wasn't too surprised either. After all, after the great change of the world, the whole world focuses on a change, and no matter how abnormal things seem to be, they are considered common sense. In order to take down this plant spirit, Su Lin was injured. Otherwise, it would be impossible to injure him with these new species of purple lynxes in the southern mountains, who were once intimidated by them. At this time, the spirit of grass and trees had been completely dispersed by Su Lin. The consciousness that had been gathered with great difficulty turned into a ball of glistening green liquid, flowing slowly in front of him. This liquid has extremely pure and vast energy fluctuations, which Surin can feel. Even the energy in the original secret bones of the Thunder Sky Eagle can't match. So in order to prevent some unnecessary accidents, during the process of absorbing energy, Surin didn't just absorb it on the spot. After all, now he can feel the tracking of those new humans more than 100 miles away, and he can also feel the electromagnetic wave signals that are everywhere in the sky. At this moment, with a thought in his mind, he prepared the green liquid transformed from the essence of plants and trees into the original space of several rounds of silver moons behind him, and waited for the massacre to be completely over before devouring it. Under the warmth of the original space behind it, any energy and essence contained in this green liquid will not be lost in the slightest. After all this is done, only then did Su Lin turn around and look at the messy battlefield and the 2 king beasts who had just followed him to chase and intercept him, and then howled in a low voice to signal them to gather the other potential beasts in the southern mountains as soon as possible. As for the hunted prey, they had already been handed over to another subdued king beast to clean the battlefield. After the 3-month period is over, Su Lin will once again divide the wolves into the southern mountain range. At this time, many new human powerhouses who are still watching the battle from afar, looking at the war that has come to an end. Everyone still has unfinished and shocked feelings in their eyes, because they feel that they have witnessed history with their own eyes, and they have also witnessed what it means to be truly invincible. What is a strong man? What is invincible? The majestic white wolf in the distance, covered in blood and exuding a monstrous and invincible arrogance, seemed to tell everyone present with the strongest record. The wolf tramples the world, smashing the mountains and rivers, and there is no one in the mountains of thousands of miles. At this moment, the Arctic Wolf King has become synonymous with invincibility in Evrion's heart. These new humans stared at the Wolf King for a moment, and then dispersed resentfully after the Wolf King turned his gaze to them. However, he still silently remembered the 3-headed king beast subdued by the Arctic Wolf King. It didn't take long after that. The news that the Arctic Wolf King completely massacred the southern mountain range spread in human society, causing a lot of public opinion for a time. The southern mountain range was originally on the Mutant Creature Danger Index list. There were 15 king-level mutant creatures in total, including a new species of alien tree. Now after the slaughter and search of the Arctic Wolf King, the most hidden king beasts have also been found out. There are a total of 17 king-level alien beasts, and a new species of alien tree, which can be regarded as 18 king-level mutant creatures. Among them, the king-level cedar tree was left by Su Lin in the southern mountain range, and it was not completely killed. After all, such a king-level alien tree can overflow a lot of pure energy on weekdays, which can greatly accelerate the growth rate of surrounding species, and the mature fruits and fallen needles also contain pure energy. Therefore, the benefits of leaving such a king-level cedar with a long history are far greater than swallowing it directly. As for the 3 alien beasts subdued by the Arctic Wolf King, it also attracted the attention of many people, because in the southern mountain range, this is also an extremely conspicuous 3-headed king beast. The 3 king beasts are all in the top 800 of the list of mutated creatures released by the Science Alliance, and the strongest among them is the Siberian viper, which ranks 367. This viper is more than 70 meters long, extremely poisonous, with silver and black patterns all over its body, and a pair of extremely cold eyes. It is a well-deserved overlord among cold-blooded creatures. This Siberian viper is also extremely strong in the high-level king class. In addition to its own venom, it also has 2 major poison talents. The toxicity is so strong that even the purple lynx could not resist it. Su Lin gave it the codename Silver-Streaked Viper. The other 2 king-level beasts, one is a vole that ranks 516th in the Mutant Creature Danger Index gang. This vole's hair was extremely black. Like the previous flying squirrel, it was the only 2 king beasts of rat type in the southern mountain range. That flying squirrel is more good at weakening the weird talents, and this vole is more inclined to group healing and support talents. And there is a large group of rats under his command. Surin has tamed it, and the wolves will add another one in the future. The last beast was a black and white butterfly with terrifying growth potential. This black and white butterfly has just evolved into a new species, but it is a new species with a spirit, and it also has 4 powerful spiritual talents, which is not inferior to the Arctic silver fox family in terms of combat power at the same level. When I first faced Su Lin, I still wanted to fight desperately. In the end, it was Su Lin who used the crushing level spiritual power to bind him with the soul lead talent. These 2 king beasts were codenamed Black Rat and White Butterfly by Su Lin respectively. Now that these 3 king level beasts have surrendered to Su Lin, they are naturally counted as members of the wolf pack by the major human forces. With the addition of 3 powerful king beasts, the strength of the wolf pack will naturally rise to a higher level in the eyes of all forces. Besides the news from the Arctic Wolf King, as time went by, the rest of the wolf pack also received shocking news again and again. The weird grizzly bear eats the blood of the king beast, breaks through again, and has infinite strength with a body size of 15 or 6 meters. The one-eyed ferocious wolf led its pack of wolves to gallop across the plains, and has defeated several large packs of wolves. At present, its pack of wolves has expanded to more than 3,000. The white fox, the invincible tiger, and the king-level bison killed several king beasts by the Ob River, and broke through again with the blood of the king beasts. Roaring proudly to the world, the giant Arctic tern is in mad during the killing, and has killed 2 birds and beasts. Now most of the birds and animals have either fled, or have surrendered to the Arctic tern. Mecha wolves beheaded another king beast, and more than 30 monstrous monsters. Many members of the wolf pack also fell during the conquest. After tracking and shooting, it was found that the leader of the Mecha wolf pack was severely injured by a certain king beast. Now life and death do not know. Another group of alien mecha beasts once again beheaded dozens of monster-level monsters, subdued more than 20 monster-level monsters, including a monster near the king level. This group of alien mecha beasts' strength is expanding rapidly. The humans and the wolves also use technology to kill dozens of monstrous beasts and tame thousands of elite-level mutant creatures. Among them, the leaders Vincent, Khan, and Wells were 6 or 7 in size. Can overwhelm monster-level mutant creatures? One after another news spread in human society, and many people were shocked by the strength of the wolves. On the entire Siberian plain, the mutated creatures that have plagued me for a long time are constantly falling under the conquest of wolves. Of course, during this period, many members of the wolf pack also fell on this plain. It's just that the wolves didn't care about these casualties, and they were still desperately marching forward to kill and crusade. Because of this hunt, the rewards given by the Wolf King are amazing, and it is worth making many members desperate for it. After this battle, the pack of wolves is afraid that at least hundreds of thousands of second wolves will emerge, and even double-digit alpha wolves will emerge. For these status and rewards, all the members of the wolf pack are red-eyed in this vast Siberian plain. In such intense bloodshed and killing, time is also quietly passing by. In the blink of an eye, more than a month passed in the blink of an eye. The wolves are still carrying out conquests on the Siberian plains. But the mutant creatures in Siberia are not brainless idiots. Any mutated creature above the elite level is almost the same as a human being in terms of intelligence. As for monster level and king level mutant creatures, they are even more intelligent than humans, especially their ability to understand and learn far surpasses humans. After experiencing a series of massacres, many mutated creatures on the Siberian plains have also discovered that they can't fight alone against the organized wolf pack opponents, who can cooperate with each other. Therefore, many mutated creatures consciously formed an alliance to fight against the wolves. With the alliance, the wolves could no longer sweep across the Siberian battlefield as before. The crusade of the wolves also began to face obstacles, and the casualties of its members were getting heavier every time. Even the small forces of the wolf pack that had been separated once again gathered again, because if they don't gather together, the weak ones will no longer be the mutated creatures on the Siberian plain, but them. Now after more than a month of killing and expansion, although there have been many casualties these days, the overall strength of the wolves is still several times stronger than when they first entered Siberia, especially the wolves. Among them, the one-eyed wolf, who is good at grasping the opportunity to expand, and whose ferocity and murderousness has gradually acquired the demeanor of a little lone wolf, has expanded its wolf clan to more than 8,000 heads. Among the more than 8,000 members of the wolf clan, there are more than 1,000 alien wolf clans, so the achievements and combat achievements of the one-eyed wolf are enough to be named a wolf clan. This also means that after the March period, there will be the third wolf in the wolf clan after the little lone wolf and cousin, and the one-eyed wolf led this huge pack of wolves and hunted and killed thousands of mutated creatures, including a nearly king-level Siberian brown bear. Although the hunting cost the lives of hundreds of wolves, the harvest of the flesh and blood of this nearly king-level Siberian brown bear also greatly improved the strength of the one-eyed wolf and the other powerful alien wolves in the wolf pack. One-eyed wolf's current strength has broken through to level 20. From level 15 to level 20, it took only 1 month to break through to such an extent. This is not because the one-eyed wolf's growth potential is too monstrous. It's just because the one-eyed wolf has led the pack of wolves under his command to hunt and kill hundreds of times in the past month or so. This means that in one day, almost 3 or 4 fights, large and small, have to be experienced. In such uninterrupted killings and life and death fights, as long as they don't fall, the speed at which they can break free from the shackles can be imagined. At this time, during so many killings, the hair on the whole body of the one-eyed wolf was covered with thick blood, but in its pair of light blue wolf eyes, there is an increasingly calm and fierce expression. It already has a strong murderous intent and ferocity rising from a wolf body nearly 10 meters high, which is not inferior to the one who once led it, the little lone wolf. It can be said that the one-eyed wolf has grown up completely during this conquest. It has become another existence that can stand alone after the little lone wolf and the male wolf part. As for the other 2 long-tailed wolves and black-striped wolves, who were promoted by Su Lin to share the male wolf with the one-eyed wolf, they could no longer catch up with the one-eyed wolf, especially the black-striped wolf, which was severely injured by several Siberian lynxes in a hunting operation half a month ago. Half of its body was crippled, and the source of life was injured. Even if he was cured by the heterogeneous healing talent in the wolf pack, he has long since lost his glory. Even Wolf Yi's status can no longer be protected, and now he has become a low-level existence among the wolves who are shouted around. This is the case among wolves, where the strong are respected, status and strength are matched. From the moment the black-striped wolf injured the source of life, even the talent could no longer be activated. It was doomed to such an ending. As for emotions such as sympathy and pity, they really never exist in the wolf pack, because in the cruel nature, we have to face life and death every day, and many times it is a luxury to live. So how do the vast majority of wolf pack members feel sympathy and compassion? It's not that the wolves are heartless, it's that they don't have the qualifications. Compassion and pity are emotions that human beings have been born for thousands of years as the overlord of the earth. Once human beings fall to the position of the overlord of the earth and become the blood food of other species, then human beings will no longer have such useless emotions, because at that time, everything will be desperately trying to survive. And when the wolves have emotions such as sympathy and pity, it means that the wolves have already stood at the pinnacle of the world, and no other group can shake the rule of the wolves. At this time, as the various parts of the wolf pack are gathering, the male part is the first to complete the gathering. It's just that the total number of long-tailed wolves, and the rest of the scattered male wolves, is no more than 5,000. You must know that the male wolves originally had 2,500 heads, but the one-eyed wolves only took away dozens of them. Therefore, Changwai and other alien male wolves only expanded by more than 2,000 wolf clan members during this period. It can also be seen from this how exaggerated the results of the one-eyed wolf in this conquest and expansion are. Longtail, who was originally on the same level as the one-eyed wolf, saw the domineering strength of the one-eyed wolf, and the densely packed pack of wolves under him, that stretched for thousands of meters. So he consciously gave up the real power of the wolf clan to the one-eyed wolf. Next, One-Eyed led the gathered pack of wolves, and continued to attack and kill the alliance that tried to resist the pack of wolves. As for the rest of the wolf pack, Asuka clan, Arctic Fox clan, Bear clan, and even the Invincible Tigers also recruited dozens of Siberian tigers during this period to form the Tiger clan. These tribes also gathered together one after another, and began to continue the large-scale conquest against the alliance of mutant creatures that blocked the wolves' conquest. Between the various divisions of the wolf pack, there are also a few Arctic silver foxes in the middle. Even Red Tail went into battle in person, controlling the overall situation as the Wolf Queen. In the past month or so, Su Lin did not directly intervene in the conquest of the wolves except after clearing the southern mountains, because this and conquest was originally a test for the wolves under his command. Those who can survive it, then they will survive it, and follow him in the future to truly conquer the world. Even the mutated creatures that temporarily form an alliance in the Siberian plain cannot defeat them. Then, after the advent of the Dark Era, how can it compete with the Indian snakes, Antarctic Zerg, Theological Alliance, and major human forces? So Su Lin didn't take any action, but only deterred and rectified the southern mountain range. During this period of time, Su Lin ordered the Black Rats to completely gather all the rat clans in the southern mountains. Those who do not surrender will be killed. In the countless killings, Su Lin's mind has long been extremely indifferent. In his eyes, the killing of the genocide has become a means of consolidating the rule, because Su Lin didn't have time to use his spiritual power to educate these beasts in the southern mountains. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy. As long as there is enough force, blood and killing can suppress the species below better and faster. Su Lin looked at the numerical attributes of the black rat, and found that the black rat has a strength of level 35. This kind of strength is combined with the original power. I believe that there is no rat in the southern mountain range that can compete. In addition to the black rat, Su Lin also ordered the silver ring viper to subdue all the snakes in the southern mountains. Snakes can enter water and drill into the ground, and when used well, they are also very sharp knives. And in the future, they will have to deal with the snakes under the command of the bloodthirsty python. Learn from the barbarians to control the barbarians. Now that the snake tribe is formed among the wolves, you can also have a better understanding of the snake group, and you will be more comfortable when dealing with the bloodthirsty python and its snake group. The silver ring viper has a strength attribute of level 37, which is almost the same as that of the invincible tiger back then. With such strength, it is also easy to dominate the snakes in the southern mountain range. The last is the white butterfly. D has strong spiritual power and can communicate with all kinds of species in the southern mountains, so Su Lin temporarily let him unify all the different species in the southern mountain range, and also check the general information of the strange flowers, exotic grasses, giant trees and so on in the southern mountain range. This is a very huge workload, so Su Lin didn't set a tight time for BD. I just signaled to BD that it should be done within 3 months, under the control of Hun Liangxian. Bai Dai, who was originally rebellious, had already resigned to her fate. Now he is wandering in the mountains in the southern border, busy with the tasks assigned by Su Lin. While the white butterfly, the black rat and the silver ring viper were all busy, Su Lin also returned to the cave where he temporarily lived in the southern mountain range. This cave was the lair of the white-feathered wind eagle back then, and it was very spacious enough to house tens of thousands of wolf pack members. And with a height of hundreds of meters, such a cave is very rare, and it can be called a miracle. In the future, let Sander lead the human beings under his command, and then reinforce it with carbon block materials, and it will be enough to build another impenetrable wolf pack residence. And in this cave, Su Lin also found several cubs of the white feather wind eagle. The cubs of the new species were born as heterogeneous species with great potential, but Su Lin still didn't move in the slightest. A mental wave flashed across, directly killing all these cubs, because the cubs of the white feather wind eagle already have the strength attribute of the 7th or 8th level, with consciousness and memory. Once they grow up in the future, no one can say whether they will rebel or not, so Su Lin will not leave a hidden danger for himself. Even these cubs may not grow up to the point where they can threaten him in their whole life. But to kill is to kill cleanly, and to cut weeds has to be uprooted, let alone intelligent mutant creatures. After the cubs of these white-feathered wind eagles were completely exterminated, all the monster-level alien species, and 14 king beasts hunted a few days ago, as well as giant trees and weeds, were collected in the cave. It can be said that hunting and killing a group in the southern mountains of Ceylon this time has yielded a lot of rewards, not to mention other different kinds of flesh and blood. Just talking about the new species of flesh and blood of the 14 king beasts, together they have more than 2,000 tons. 2,000 tons of flesh and blood of a new species is definitely a harvest that will make all forces and hunters jealous. So Su Lin has always kept the flesh and blood of these new species by his side, and they have left their own spiritual imprints. 2,000 tons of the flesh and blood of the new species is enough to eat for a long time, and the pure energy contained in it and the evolution value converted into it are also enough to support Su Lin to advance several levels again. In addition, there are 25 remains of different trees and vine roots of 13 different plants. These are the different grasses and trees that were destroyed by the aftermath of the energy of the war some time ago. It also contains a lot of pure energy. The pure energy in exotic flowers and plants far exceeds that of other beasts of the same level, and it also has the effect of accelerating genetic transformation. Therefore, this batch of roots and vines of different plants and trees is also extremely important to Su Lin. As for the more than 200 monster-level heterogeneous flesh and blood, the total amount of these flesh and blood is 40,000 to 50,000 tons, and there is a lot of pure energy contained in it. In the future, whether Su Lin swallows it himself or rewards the members of the wolf pack under his command, it will be very good. With this batch of blood food, plus the harvest of the wolves currently hunting everywhere, and the 2 million tons of food in reserve, Su Lin has enough confidence to lead the wolves through the dark era. Of course, the premise of everything is to wait for the wolves to pass this test. If even the mutated creatures in the Siberian plain couldn't be wiped out, Surin might really have given up most of the members of the wolf pack, and only picked some followers. After all, although there is no ethnic group, there will inevitably be less assistance in the future struggle for hegemony among all races. But without the ethnic group, there will be a lot less concern. Su Lin can also let go better, and start killing. And after the wolves passed the test, and completely wiped out the mutated creatures on the Siberian plain, then Surin will still lead the pack of wolves. At that time, the Siberian plain will be the frontier, the Arctic ice sheet will be the backing, and the land of adventures will be the last retreat for the pack of wolves. In this way, I believe that even in the dark era, no matter how cruel the struggle for hegemony is, the wolves can survive. In addition, setting up so many defensive lines is not because Su Lin thinks that the wolves will fail in the battle for hegemony in the Dark Age. I just feel that in the Dark Era, the so-called totems of the species that have passed away will also be revived, and no one can say for sure how far they will fight. It is very possible to kill until the sun and the moon are dark, and the mountains and rivers are broken. Don't think about victory, think about defeat first. Su Lin is used to everything and is fully prepared. This is better than being at a loss when a real crisis comes. At this time, Su Lin returned to the cave, and with a thought, the harvest of slaughtering the entire southern mountain range appeared in front of his eyes. By killing 14 king beasts, and more than 200 different species, he not only gained a lot of evolutionary value by devouring the essence parts, but also harvested a total of 236 innate serums. Counting the previous talent serums, Su Lin currently has 251 talent serums. This is enough for him to strengthen the talents of Light Shelter and Soul Lead again. In addition to the harvest of the talent serum, there are also 2 combat rating rewards. For the first time, I got a limit-breaking serum, talent, 5 recovery potions, and 50 evolution potions. After beheading more than 10 king beasts and plant elves for the second time in a row, Su Lin got the SS+ rating. This is the first time that Su Lin has obtained a double S+ rating, and the reward he obtained has a limit-breaking serum, body. In addition, there are 10 blood-burning potions, 10 recovery potions and 300 evolution potions. The rewards given by these 2 battle ratings are pretty good. At present, Su Lin has a total of 2 limit-breaking serums, 26 blood-burning potions, 37 recovery potions, and more than 400 evolution potions. Whether it's a blood-burning potion or a recovery potion, when the battle is really going crazy, this is the strongest trump card to stimulate combat power and restore state. As for the evolution potion, it can help Su Lin go faster and farther on the road of growth. There are more than 400 evolution potions, and the effect of each evolution potion can last for 3 days, so it is long enough to not worry about evolution potions. In addition, the most important thing is the limit-breaking serum, which is a new resource obtained by Su Lin's 2 combat ratings. So at this time, Su Lin read the introduction of the limit-breaking serum in detail, and the introduction of the limit-breaking serum appeared in front of his eyes with a thought. Limit-breaking serum, talent. After taking it, you can randomly break through the original limit of the talent and reach a new level of talent. There are 10% failures, and the effect of the talent will be increased after failure. Note, when using the limit-breaking serum, talent, the whole body talent will be temporarily banned. Please pay attention to find a safe area when using it. Limit-breaking talent, body. After taking it, you can randomly break through the upper limit of organs and limbs, reaching a new level. There is a failure rate of more than 10%. After failure, the attributes of the organs and limbs will be slightly increased. Note, when using the limit-breaking serum, body, there is a 1% probability of converting the original bone into a secret bone. When using the limit-breaking serum, body, the organs and limbs of the whole body will be in a state of powerlessness, and the secret technique will be temporarily banned. Please pay attention to finding a safe area When using it, Su Lin looked at the introductions of these two limit-breaking serums one after another, because the function of the limit-breaking serum exceeded his expectations. If the talent serum and strengthening serum are used to strengthen the talent and body, then the limit-breaking serum is to break the limit. Even the talent that has reached the top level can also be promoted again by relying on the limit-breaking serum. So this is what makes Su Lin feel a little excited. Such a limit-breaking serum may look ordinary, but its rarity is self-evident. No wonder only 2 were rewarded for 2 consecutive battle rating rewards. At this time, after reading the introduction of the limit-breaking serum, Su Lin planned to try the talent-type limit-breaking serum first, to see which talent's limit could be broken. Of course, what he hopes is the hunting talent, because the hunting talent is Surin's most powerful killing talent at the moment. He has never seen other boosting talents that are comparable to the hunting talent. Once the upper limit is broken again, the hunting talent will be raised to a higher level. Whether it is the duration of the increased talent or the power of the talent, there will be a considerable improvement in this idea. With a thought in Su Lin's mind, a light gray message appeared in front of his eyes. Ding! Is the limit-breaking serum talent used? Use. Without the slightest hesitation, he nodded. Su Lin subconsciously thought that the talent-type limit-breaking serum should be similar to the talent serum, and would be a comfortable warm current, but I miscalculated after using it. An incomparably cold current appeared on the whole wolf body. This cold current was so icy cold that it instantly froze many meridians on the wolf's body. As a result, Su Lin's original tyrannical talent after another was completely blocked, and could not be displayed. In addition, due to the heavy cold air, Su Lin, who had experienced extreme pain many times, couldn't help but clenched his teeth. It's no wonder that in the introduction of the limit-breaking serum, it will remind you to find a safe area to use, because in this kind of icy air, even if physical strength and secret techniques are not banned, it is difficult to endure such pain. At this time, Su Lin was holding on, without making the slightest sound, but silently enduring the extreme biting cold. In patience, time is also quietly passing. As time passed, the huge wolf body of Surin in the cave was also filled with waves of white cold air, and a slight frost formed on the hair that could resist absolute zero. Time passed quickly, and several hours passed quietly in a flash. The weather outside has changed from daytime to evening. The afterglow of the sun shone on the entrance of the cave, making the outside of the cave an orange-yellow color, while the gloom in the cave became heavier and heavier. On a boulder in the middle of the cave, the huge body of Su Lin was getting heavier and heavier, and the icy air was rising from the huge wolf body. Under such bone-piercing cold, most of the mutated creatures, even if their bodies could resist, would already be dying of pain. However, Su Lin suppressed the pain forcefully by relying on his tyrannical willpower. Just endured it quietly all the time. In the process of enduring, the icy air in the limit-breaking serum was also absorbed bit by bit from the meridians. After more than an hour, the cold air in the cave couldn't escape, and Su Lin felt that the cold air in his body gradually weakened. When the cold air weakened, he loosened his clenched teeth, and then shook the hair on his body, shaking off the thick frost completely. At this time, Su Lin could clearly feel that the meridians in his body that were naturally operated had expanded and strengthened a lot. The energy that can be carried is also vaster. After the icy air of the limit-breaking serum was completely absorbed, the meridians of all limbs and bones in Su Lin's body vibrated. At the same time, it also emits bright silver fluorescence. The brilliance of this silver fluorescence penetrates through Su Lin's huge wolf body, making the extremely dark cave seem brighter. Even the silver moon, which contains the original power in the 9 rounds behind it, also shone with silver fluorescence, which complemented the flickering fluorescence at the meridians. After the silver fluorescent light flickered for a full 10 minutes, it gradually retracted into the wolf's body. After being introverted, several meridians in the body seem to have undergone transformation. The vast energy in the body swims through the meridians, and it is also more passionate and surging, without the slightest blockage. Su Lin's already tyrannical life fluctuations are even more terrifying at this moment. Even if it is a new species, under such terrifying life fluctuations, it still feels like encountering a natural enemy. At this time, after he paused for a breath, 2 light gray message prompts appeared in front of Su Lin's eyes. Congratulations to the S-level Serious Xiaowu for successfully breaking the limit. This talent can be promoted to a new level. Congratulations to the limit-breaking serum talent for successfully breaking the limit. The meridian is strengthened, the blood value plus 3000, and the endurance value plus 200. After these 2 light gray message prompts popped up in front of his eyes, Su Lin also had a touch of relief in his expression. Fortunately, after suffering for so long, the limit-breaking serum finally succeeded. Even if he is not talented in hunting, Serious Xiaowu is not bad, at least not hidden talents. After all, The B-level hidden talent is more than enough for Su Lin. Completely concealing his figure and aura for a full 8 hours is enough for Su Lin to do most of the things. Even with his current strength, it is rare to use hidden talents. As for Sirius Xiao, whether it is clearing enemies within the range or killing birds and other species, it is extremely useful. In addition, in the previous **** battles, the talent of Sirius Xiao also made great contributions to himself. Therefore, Sirius Xiao broke the limit, which is not bad among many talents. In a satisfied mood, the latest attribute panel also appeared in front of Su Lin. Name, Su Lin. Species, New Howling Moon Silver Wolf. Gene level, II. Level 28. Upgrading requires 240,000 evolutionary essences. Vitality, 35,850. Stamina, 2,540. Strength, 2,300. Defense, 2,160. Speed, 3,560. Essence of Evolution, 215,389 roads. Talents, Concealment, Grade B, Judgment, Grade S, Hunting, Grade S, Healing, Grade S. Sirius Xiao, Grade S, has broken the limit. Shelter of Light, Grade S+. Soul Link, Grade S+. Secret Technique, Surprise the Great Gap, Elegy of the Soul. Even the talent type limit-breaking serum still gave Su Lin a lot of bonuses to blood and stamina. Now Su Lin's chi and blood value is already approaching the big level of 40,000. Due to the original power of devouring too many new species, coupled with the blessing of this limit-breaking serum, his chi and blood value is surging to the point of extremely exaggerated, almost equal to 2 or 3 times the blood value of ordinary new species, even large herbivorous species. Bears and other new species that are dominated by blood and defense are hard to match. In addition, because he devoured the essence of 14 king beasts and more than 200 mutated creatures, Su Lin was not far away from his next promotion. It can be said that this trip to the southern mountains is the most rewarding one in Surin's history. The harvested resources are enough to support him to be promoted many times. After devouring all these resources completely, Su Lin's strength will have an earth-shaking improvement. Now it's just a talent-type limit-breaking serum, and there are many other resources. With a thought in his mind, Su Lin closed the attribute panel and began to take out talent serums one after another, deciding to strengthen all current talents to the top level. Soul Lead, Light Asylum, or the new limit-breaking Sirius Xiao can all be strengthened. Even Su Lin can still be strengthening to see if he can unlock a new talent. In such thoughts, Su Lin did not hesitate. After the breath was completely stable and the cold air in the cave gradually dissipated, I entrenched in the cave, and I continued to silently improve my strength. Ding! Is the talent serum used? Use? As always, the familiar warm current appeared on the wolf's body, limbs and bones. Chilling air without limit break serum. Moreover, the ordinary talent serum was absorbed very quickly, and it was completely absorbed after the wolf's limbs and bones surged for a while. A light gray message prompt appeared in front of Su Lin's eyes. Wolf Roar Talent Enhancement Progress 1/50th. After the progress value is completed, it will be promoted to SS rank Sirius Roar Moon. Need 50. Su Lin looked at the light gray message prompt, although he already knew it, but every time he saw this progress value, he would be a little bit tongue-tied. Fortunately, they harvested enough this time. More than 200 talent serums were enough to strengthen all 3 talents. After strengthening, Su Lin also casually glanced at the S+ level Sirius Xiao. It was found that the killing range of Sirius Xiao and the sweeping speed of the wolf howling sound wave had both been accelerated. In addition, even the bonus of Sirius Xiao to the wolves under his command had also increased a little. It can be seen that once the strengthening is completed, Sirius Xiao will have a considerable improvement in all aspects, especially the killing range and the sweeping speed of the sound waves are already very necessary to increase, because now Su Lin's own speed alone has the strength of 5 or 6 times the speed of sound per second, even if he does not activate the original power and hunting talent. Therefore, sound waves at 10 times the speed of sound are too slow for Su Lin in many cases, just like in the battle against the purple lynx at its peak. After the purple lynx burned its source of life, the sound wave of Surin wolf howling could no longer catch up with its speed. Therefore, in the real peak duel, apart from being used for the sonic duel and restraining the spirit and soul power, Sirius Xiao has no important role. Now that the limit is broken, Sirius Xiao can just make up for the disadvantage in the peak duel. At this time, after absorbing a talent serum, Su Lin took out another talent serum to use. Ding! Is the talent serum used? Use? Another talent serum was used, and the warm current emerged again. The warm current is absorbed very quickly, which also means that no new talents are born, and the enhancements are just the original talents. Soon, a light gray message prompt appeared again. S-level bright shelter talent enhancement progress 3/50ths. After the progress value is completed, it will be promoted to SS level bright shelter. Looking at the light gray message in front of him, Su Lin was not surprised, because only these 3 talents can be upgraded, and there are enough talent serums. It doesn't matter which one is enhanced. After the new introduction of Bright Asylum appeared in front of his eyes, Su Lin just glanced at it and skipped it, and then continued to take out the talent serum and use it. Time is also quietly passing through the talent strengthening time, and time again. As time passed, the silver ring vipers, black rats, and white butterflies outside were still busy day and night. Even in the middle of the night, he was still carrying out the orders of the Wolf King in the cave, because whether it is the spiritual soul line rooted in the depths of the sea of consciousness, or the fear of the decisive Wolf King, they dare not have the slightest obedience. And after being promoted to a new species, most of the time, as long as the physical strength and original power are sufficient, rest such as sleep is no longer needed. So being busy day and night did not affect them in the slightest. In the thousands of miles of southern mountains, the 3 remaining king-level beasts are still expanding and killing in the dark rats, snakes, and other mutated creatures. As long as they didn't submit, they stained the southern mountain range with blood one after another, becoming strands of dead souls floating in the southern range. And in this dark night, apart from the battles on the southern mountains and the Siberian plains that attracted people's attention, another major event that no one could have imagined happen again. The speedy golden wither comes out of Jerusalem again. This beast, which was at the top of both the original ranking list of the danger index of alien beasts and the current list of mutant creatures, ran out of Jerusalem again. All the major human forces overseeing Jerusalem sent this news back to the headquarters as quickly as possible. All of a sudden, the major forces in the Science Alliance have launched their ultimate killers. Because the speedy golden wither is different from the Arctic Wolf King, this is a world-destroying beast that is completely on the opposite side of human beings, and its combat power is infinitely close to the upper-level world-destroying beast. The last time I left Jerusalem, I directly slaughtered a country. Its majestic power is still fresh in the memory of all human forces. Faced with the rapid golden withering move, all major human beings activated the strongest means without the slightest hesitation. The hand of God of the Great Self, the undead pharaoh of the African Union, the artificial gods of Bezu, and more than a dozen ultimate armor and genetic humans developed by the Science Alliance, etc., are all ready for battle. Only the soldiers at the bottom didn't feel anything unusual. But what was unexpected was that none of the forces would have thought that the speedy gold wither did not go straight to the major forces and the Science Alliance, spreading its wings. A monstrous monster with a full length of 300 or 400 meters headed straight for the shallow sea of the Indian Ocean. And there is a terrifying alligator with a body size of 70 or 80 meters, a few years ago. Now the size of this terrifying crocodile has reached nearly 300 meters, and its monstrous combat power and destructiveness can be called the most in the shallow waters of the Indian Ocean. The indestructible crocodile skin on his body makes even the cold-blooded giant tooth sharks flinch. It even ranks 27th in the list of mutated creature danger indexes, and is known as the existence of the closest to the existence of world-exterminating monsters in the shallow waters of the Indian Ocean, except for the cold-blooded megalodon. Just when the major human forces were still vigilant in fear, not knowing what the speedy gold wither wanted to do, the Theological Alliance, which had been immersed in it for a long time, also spoke again. Soon, the public speech was spread all over the internet through the satellite network controlled by his subordinates. When all human beings saw the content of this news from the Theological Alliance, they felt it was deafening in an instant. Even the power holders of the 6 major human forces and the Science Alliance felt chills behind their backs and horror in their eyes when they saw the news, and they talked to each other about the source and authenticity of the news. At the same time, the Science Alliance also set up an online summit meeting at the fastest speed, inviting the power holders of all major forces to enter the talks. Soon, the power holders of all major forces gathered online. The areas where some forces are located are still in the middle of the night like me, but none of the leaders of the forces expressed dissatisfaction. Everyone can't wait to discuss the authenticity of the news released by the Theological Alliance in the meeting. All large screen linkages, each of which has a person in power who controls the life and death of hundreds of millions of human beings. In the middle, there is also a video of the rapid golden withering of Starlink's real-time detection. This time, the speedy golden wither did not hide its aura at all, and just flew openly between the sky and the earth, so it was easy to be caught. Many people in power just glanced at the super-fast golden wither in the video, and found that its speed was much faster than before. In the air without any terrain cover, the speed of the super-speed Jinzhuo has already exceeded 20 to 30 times the supersonic speed. Such a speed, apart from the lightning speed, has only been created by the Arctic Wolf King. Even the Jaguar, which is elusive in the Americas, can hardly match this speed. Even the latest version 2.0 of the 7th generation fighter plane at this speed cannot be tracked and captured, and can only rely on the star chains all over the world to take some pictures. Even with the help of Starlink, if you want to attack with ballistic missiles, it is impossible to hit a beast that is flying so fast, because the speed currently displayed by the super speed Gold Wither is faster than the speed of ballistic missiles. But nowadays, the major power holders just glanced at the super-fast Jin Qiao in the video and then looked away. What they paid more attention to was the news announced by the Theological Alliance, which was too horrifying. After the start of the online summit meeting, before waiting for the experts from the Science Alliance to speak, the highest authority in the African Union directly took the lead in speaking. I would like to ask whether the 100-day countdown mentioned by the Theological Alliance is true. Is the so-called end times really coming? Are the disasters we humans are experiencing today not considered the end times? What kind of scene will the real end of the world be like? Is it the dark scene described by the Theological Alliance, where the totem gods who have passed away will come back to the world one by one, feeding on the blood of all living beings? Due to the smooth sailing of the African Union in the battlefield against mutant creatures in the past few years, and the emergence of many new human powerhouses, the status of the African Union among the major forces is also getting higher and higher. And this series of questions from the highest authority in the African Union has indeed asked all the puzzles and worries in the hearts of the people. After the voice of the highest authority in the African Union fell to the ground, the other leaders of the major forces also echoed and asked the highest-ranking experts and scholars of the Science Alliance. It seems that everything in the world can be answered from them. This is the inertia of admiration for the highest knowledge and unconditional belief in science for a long time. Only this time, the top experts of the Science Alliance pondered for a long time and did not give everyone an answer, because they also don't know the authenticity of these. They also have endless questions in their minds facing the speech of the Theological Alliance. At first, they felt that the speech of the Theological Alliance was just to disturb the hearts of the people and once again make the major forces turbulent. But after calming down and thinking about it, if this speech is true or false, the Theological Alliance will destroy the omniscient image that I have built for a long time and the spiritual beliefs in people's hearts. For them, the cost of spreading rumors is too heavy. So at this time, the experts in the Science Alliance are not full of questions, facing the expectant eyes of those in power of various forces. One of the seasoned and prudent experts still said, "We are currently unable to determine the truth or falsehood of the apocalyptic remarks about the 100-day countdown of the Theological Alliance, but it is about totems and the revival of gods. As for the matter, we have found through many researches that some totem poles and carved statues of gods do have a divine substance that has not been detected so far. These divine substances are lifeless on the surface, like dust, but in-depth research reveals that there are extremely large energy and life fluctuations, and the possibility of divine substances recovering on their own and reuniting consciousness cannot be ruled out under certain circumstances. But after the consciousness is reunited, we think it will be a new life form, because scientific methods cannot prove that consciousness and even spiritual power can be preserved from many centuries ago. Even if it is preserved, it should only remain in the divine substance fragments of past memory." After his speech, these remarks did not dispel the doubts and worries in the hearts of those in power of the other major forces, because the major forces have already discovered something about the divine substance. But looking at the events of the recovery of divine substances all over the world, there are very few. Even the very few incidents of divine recovery have sheltered many worshipping human beings. Just like India, in the case of bloodthirsty pythons massacring humans and temple monks, the divine substance in several Buddha statues soared into the sky, evolving into a golden light. In that battle, the bloodthirsty python and its group of snakes were held back, causing many people and temple monks to escape and ascend to heaven. Therefore, regarding the divine substance, the power holders of the major forces do not believe that the threat to human beings is not too great. There are even many people in power who protect all totems and places of worship of gods as holy places, and regard them as the last security guarantee when human beings fail to fight against mutant creatures in the future. Therefore, regarding the words of the experts of the Science Alliance, the power holders of all forces just nodded and paid more attention to the divine substances in their respective regions. But the divine substance is usually as dead ashes, and it is difficult to detect it even with the most advanced detection equipment, so such verbal attention is tantamount to perfunctory. Immediately after responding with a few sentences, the power holders of all major forces still shifted their focus back to the 100 days. Will there be a so-called end of the world? What kind of scene will it be like after the end of the world? This is what everyone is most concerned about. Many experts from the Science Alliance began to express their views in the online meeting after pondering for a long time. An expert in the research and development of the ultimate mecha from the Science Alliance said, "Whether it is science or natural phenomena, there is no sign that the so-called end of the world will come." According to the words of the Theological Alliance, the end of the world will be 100 days later, a scene where mountains and rivers sink, and gods and demons destroy the world. So at least now there should be some natural phenomena warning, but there is no sign of it. Therefore, it is not ruled out that the Theological Alliance made a desperate struggle after feeling that there is no hope of dominating all mankind. And with the help of all of you, the production speed of the ultimate armor has been accelerated. 13 ultimate armors have been successfully developed, and there are more than 20 semi-finished products. Once all of them are successfully developed, more than 30 ultimate armors cooperating with the strongest genetic warriors, it can fight against 3 world-killing mutant creatures. After the speech of the ultimate mech expert, many experts from the Science Alliance expressed their opinions, most of which were positive. But after pondering for a long time, an expert who originally planned not to speak out did not restrain the words in his heart after all. He thought a lot, and then slowly said to the masters of the major forces in the video, "What if I say that the end of the world described by the Theological Alliance is true?" One word is shocking. The masters of many forces, who originally thought that the Theological Alliance was at the end of the road, including the rest of the Science Alliance experts, all fell silent in an instant. For a moment, the entire online meeting fell into a deathly silence. However, the people who participated in the meeting had all seen strong winds and waves, and soon their expressions returned to normal. They all asked this astonishingly eloquent expert what was going on. Science Union has a specialization. This expert is obviously the researcher who studies the mysterious energy between heaven and earth and various essence medicines. In the Science Alliance, it is also well known. At this time, his expression was very solemn and he said, "In fact, the natural warning between heaven and earth has already occurred, but our human senses have deteriorated and we can no longer perceive it. I used the most cutting-edge detection equipment, and after several months of detection, a mysterious force that can mutate natural creatures is fading rapidly. Originally, I thought this was a good thing for human beings, because once the mysterious power subsided successfully, these mutant creatures would no longer be able to maintain such a fast evolution rate. But now that the Theological Alliance's 100-day period is released, I don't think so. Think about it, because according to calculations, the time for the mysterious power to completely disappear is also around 100 days. So I think that on the day when the mysterious power completely disappears, the world is bound to usher in an earth-shattering change." After his words fell to the ground, many power masters were shocked and reprimanded. Such an astonishing discovery. Why didn't they notify them in advance? But after thinking about it, they all understood the scruples of the Science Alliance. That is, after the news is released, it is very likely that the major forces will no longer be united as they are now. Once it is understood that after the mysterious power subsides, the evolution of mutated creatures will stagnate, and human beings will eventually stand on top of the world again, I am afraid that various forces will set off open and secret battles again, vying for who is the strongest force in the world, who is the maker of the new global order. As intelligent creatures, human beings are often the group with the most intense internal fighting, so it is not the fault of the Science Alliance that it is notified now. Even for the sake of confidentiality, the experts who study the mysterious power have not even informed the members of the rest of the Science Union. At this time, after the accusation, the lords of the major forces and the experts and professors of many science alliances were rarely silent for a long time in front of the video. Everyone is thinking about how to deal with it in the future. At first, everyone thought that catching up with a great change in the world, and various mutated creatures appeared in the world, it was already a change that had never been seen in the ages. But now it is discovered that this eternal change seems to have only turned a corner. Even though all the people present are the top-tier existences with hearts and wills, it still feels like the future of human beings is gloomy. It seems that there is no way forward anymore. But after being silent for a long time, it wasn't until after the fast golden Wither and the terrifying crocodile in the video from Starlink that they fought an unprecedented and shocking battle in the shallow water of the Indian Ocean, that everyone came back to their senses a little bit. They all began to express their opinions in the online meeting with a gloomy expression. In the end, no matter what, these people are shouldering the fate of all mankind. So after slowing down for a long time, I adjusted my mentality. After discussing for a while, after the last final meeting, Com has agreed on 3 agreements again. Article 1. All mankind establishes a supreme alliance organization of mankind. This alliance organization includes those in power of various forces, experts and professors of the science alliance, the ultimate mech warrior, the existence of the king of the new human beings, etc. At the critical moment of human life and death, all the command power can be handed over to this alliance to prevent internal fighting from consuming vital strength. Article 2. Start to gather the power of all mankind to build the great underground wall, the strongest fortress, and Noah's Ark that preserves human civilization, spaceships, etc., especially spaceships, after they are built, immediately transport away a batch of human civilization tinder. Article 3. All forces expand their nuclear arsenals, increase the power and lethality of nuclear weapons, and establish the most advanced intelligence systems for nuclear weapons. Take as much as you want. At that time, since the world does not belong to human beings, it can't be blamed that they don't care about this world. At this time, these 3 newly supplemented agreements have already highlighted the intentions of the power holders of the major forces present and the experts and professors of the Science Alliance, and also brought out unprecedented peak-killing intent. If one day the mountains and rivers are broken and the gods and demons destroy the world as described by the Theological Alliance, it is better for humans to take the lead in destroying this world. After the agreement, the lords of all parties began preparations in full swing. After the great change in the world, they, as the highest power holders, have already understood how heavy the responsibility is on their shoulders. Because if you are not careful, it may lead to the death of thousands of human beings, and even lead to the bleak future of human beings. Therefore, none of the power masters complained about the high intensity of work today, but they all returned to the chamber with a solemn expression, and convened the highest meeting within the power. At this time, the battle between the fast golden Wither and the terrifying alligator in the Starlink video is still going on. This time, with the help of the Theological Alliance, the video of the swift golden wither and the terrifying crocodile battle was quickly posted on the internet in real time. It was also the first time for many people to see the true strength of the swift golden wither and the terrifying alligator, especially the swift golden wither. This world-destroying alien beast that once destroyed the country has always only heard its voice, but not its body. Nowadays, when the wings on one side are more than 200 meters long, and when it is unfolded, it has a body size of 400 to 500 meters. When it appears in the video, everyone seems to be able to feel the pavement through the screen. Come strong. The whole body of Shinsu Jinyu is golden, as if it was poured gold. The whole body is golden and fluorescent, and the top of its head is slightly raised, like the phoenix crown of the king of birds. It looks extremely extraordinary. The claw thorns and withered beak are even more like gold castings, shining faintly. You can feel its sharpness just by looking at the video, but the eyes of the swift golden wither were black and white, very clear as a lake, and even in the shopping battle with the terrifying alligator, the color of the eyes did not change at all. It's as easy and free hand as a leisurely stroll in the courtyard. Pong! The sharp claws of the swift golden wither and the tail flick of the terrifying alligator collided fiercely. At this moment, the terrifying energy fluctuations from both sides interfered with the electromagnetic waves, causing the screens to flicker. At this time, in the shopping of terrifying alien beasts, standing on top of the mutated creatures, the water in the shallow Indian Ocean for hundreds of miles could not churn. The waves that were raised were hundreds of meters high, like a tsunami, and washed away some small towns along the coast of the Indian Ocean in an instant. This is the terrifying combat power and power of both sides. The aftermath of the battle alone is enough to destroy many things and countless lives. Even ordinary new humans and alien species below level 20 are as fragile as thin paper after their battles, and they are torn to pieces in an instant. When the sharp claws of the swift golden wither collided with the giant tail of the terrifying crocodile, traces of blood were also spilled. These extremely pure blood all carry extremely strong fluorescence, and the energy contained in each drop of blood can create an elite mutant creature. So much blood was spilled across the shallow waters of the Indian Ocean, which also meant that there would be an incomparably large number of mutated creatures in this sea area in the future. The blood of the swift golden wither is golden yellow, and the blood of the terrifying crocodile is black and purple. But comparatively speaking, only wisps of blood flowed out from the swift golden wither, while the blood of the terrifying bay crocodile blackened a large area of the sea not long after the fierce fight started. With such a clear confrontation, it is already obvious who is strong and who is weak. Roar! At this time, in the video, the terrifying crocodile roared and shook the sky, and the tsunami surged with overwhelming power. The swift golden wither hovering in the sky is still as calm as water, it's just that the golden glow on his body became more intense. And then he shed more than 10 golden feathers, and sank into the bottom of the sea, sealing off this area and preventing the terrifying crocodile from diving into the sea and escaping. As for the roaring sound wave of the terrifying crocodile, it was not noticed by the super-fast Jin Xiao, but the slight movement of its wings blocked the sound wave that could crack gold and stone. Even when the wings spread out again, the speed increased several times, as if teleporting directly to the terrifying crocodile. The sharp claws attempted to directly bring the terrifying crocodile out of the sea. When the sharp claws grabbed the indestructible crocodile armor of the terrifying crocodile, the huge sound of metal and iron colliding made everyone in front of the screen feel extremely ear-piercing. Can you imagine how loud the voice would be if it was on the spot? Tear, followed by the sound of flesh being cut. This caused many people to concentrate on watching the real-time video, even reluctant to blink. Soon after the brilliant golden and black fluorescent lights came to an end, everyone saw the terrifying crocodile, that was nearly 300 meters long, and weighed at least thousands of tons, was dragged out of the sea. At this moment, they all deeply felt the mighty power of the supernatural speed that can lift mountains and shake the world. After lifting the terrifying crocodile up, the terrifying crocodile also felt a deadly threat, and began to struggle crazily. But before he could struggle for a moment, the super-speed Jin Zhou slammed the nearly 300-meter-long terrifying alligator onto a raised rock. Pung! The reef that stood in the sea for an unknown period of time suddenly shattered. On the body of the terrifying crocodile, the wounds that had been slashed with blood were also torn a lot again, and the pure blood with fluorescent light gushed out like money. If it wasn't for the horrible aura emanating from the terrifying alligator and the swift golden wither, it would have already attracted the hunters in the nearby waters. Even in the real-time video sent back by Starlink, many people can see that in the distant sea area, there are some megalodon sharks wandering back and forth, but they have never dared to move forward, because a battle at the level of the terrifying crocodile and the speedy golden wither is simply not something they can participate in. As for the world-killing cold-blooded giant tooth shark behind the shark group, no one knows whether it has come or not, because not to mention the world-destroying beasts in the deep sea, even the world-destroying beasts on land and in the sky, as long as they restrain their breath, even the top radars and satellites will not be able to detect them. At this time, as the shopping continued, more and more people paid attention. The real-time killing video of the swift golden wither and the terrifying alligator spread across the internet at an extremely fast speed. All of a sudden, it overwhelmed the popularity of the Arctic wolves and the Wolf King, making headlines in major media apps and browsers. The focus of all human discussions also quickly shifted from the Arctic wolves and the Wolf King to the swift golden wither and the terrifying crocodile, because the speedy gold wither has too much prestige in human society. Regardless of whether it was the alien beast list a few years ago or the current mutated creature risk index list, the speedy golden wither was always at the top. It resounded in human society much earlier than the Arctic Wolf King and Arctic Wolf Pack, and with becoming the guardian of the Theological Alliance, destroying a country alone, etc., these reputations spread, adding to the infinite prestige of the speedy golden wither. Along with the spread of the speedy golden withering video, there are also doomsday remarks about the 100-day countdown to the theological union. Therefore, there is a lot of discussion on the internet nowadays. Some are advocating the doomsday rhetoric, some are afraid of the rapid gold withering combat power, and naturally there are also speeches that have sufficient confidence in human beings, firmly believe that human beings will win, and so on. In short, these remarks are constantly flashing under the videos and news of various fast gold withers. I firmly believe that mankind will win. I never believe in the nonsense of the Theological Alliance, because has the Theological Alliance done a good thing for mankind? It keeps saying that it will protect all mankind, but it is the one that instigated the rapid gold withering country, and it is also the one that has been disturbing the hearts of the people. Yes, I also firmly believe that human beings will win as long as everyone works together. No matter whether there is a so-called doomsday or not, they will definitely survive. Man will conquer the sky. In addition, it's said that the speedy gold is here to hunt and kill the terrifying crocodile just for the 100 days. The post-apocalyptic pure blood food. Then I would like to ask if such a big publicity is needed to simply obtain blood food. It is clearly a show of force. Oh my god, is there really an opponent for the combat power of the swift golden wither? The careless killing has caused the blood of a beast at the level of the terrifying crocodile. Even the other world-destroying beasts will not be opponents. Is the apocalypse really coming? It's better to believe it than to believe it's not. The speedy gold is hunting and killing terrifying beasts to store blood food. Let's buy more food. Under the numerous comments, although people everywhere have long lost trust in the Theological Alliance, they still have the endorsement of Jerusalem, the holy land of the three religions, and a powerful and unparalleled beast like the Godspeed Jinnu as the guardian. So in the hearts of many people, it still has a lot of weight. Therefore, many people still silently bought and hoarded some food and seasonings, which caused prices to soar everywhere. What's more, under the doomsday remarks, a basement was built. Some residents in high-rise buildings in the city raise funds to strengthen underground garages and other places. Faced with the citizens who acted like this, the official levels of the major forces just advocated not to panic and orderly purchase. In addition, there is no stopping Evrion's behavior. This made many big families and big chaebol faintly feel something, began to frantically purchase all the materials on the market, and even bought a large piece of land, surrounded by mountains and steep terrain, trying to build a safe paradise in the apocalypse in the deep mountains and old forests. But soon this kind of behavior came under official control. The materials purchased in large quantities were donated to the government unconditionally. As for the land and building materials purchased in the deep mountains and old forests, it is also agreed that after the construction is completed, the government can temporarily requisition it when necessary. This makes many big families and big chaebol suffer and cannot tell. Even many big families and big chaebol are trying to join the Theological Alliance, but just as soon as he thought about it, he was wiped out by the officials with a thunderbolt. Such an iron-fisted method has already demonstrated the unparalleled killing intent suppressed by the major official forces in silence. Troubled times with heavy code. This killing intent made even the Hua Fei family dare not express any dissatisfaction in public. But this killing intent is only aimed at these big chaebols and big families. For the people at the bottom, all major forces have acquiesced in the means and measures of self-help. After all, even if the government is secretly building the underground Great Wall and the strongest fortress, the number of people it can accommodate is limited after all, and it cannot accommodate so many people. So no matter what, we cannot deprive human beings of their hope of survival. But the control of ordinary firearms is getting stricter. On the contrary, for top technological weapons such as mechs and individual ion cannons, the control has become looser, because ordinary firearms have gradually proven that apart from killing humans and ordinary species, it is difficult to cause effective damage to mutant creatures. Even the most low-level mutant creatures, with their tenacious vitality, can still survive several shots. Therefore, the control of ordinary firearms is to prevent chaos among the people when the government is unable to do so. As for high-tech weapons such as meshes and individual ion cannons, they are all very expensive in terms of cost of manufacture and consumption. I believe that the vast majority of those who possess these cutting-edge technological killers will not use them to fight against each other among human beings, because the cost is too high. Each ion cannonball needs 1,000 alliance coins, and every time the mech is used to replace the oil and maintenance, it also needs tens of thousands of alliance coins. Therefore, such a high cost makes these top technology killers only be used to save lives. Even big chaebols and big families would not aim these weapons at civilians, because the gain outweighs the loss. Now all major human forces are busy preparing for the doomsday and paying attention to the battle between the swift golden wither and the terrifying crocodile. However, the popularity of the Arctic wolves and the Wolf King has gradually faded on the internet. Time flies, and another month has passed. The online battle between the swift golden wither and the terrifying alligator has finally come to an end. No one thought that this peak battle between alien beasts would last for such a long time. It never occurred to him that in the battle, the terrifying alligator that was always considered to be bulky and cold-blooded in people's field of vision, its growth potential has reached a level that is almost against the sky. In the battle, he broke through abruptly and forcibly, and stood on the threshold of the extermination level. In the end, with the help of the rest of the breakthrough and the huge bite force, it tore open the blockade of the super-speed golden wither and dived into the deep sea. This made the speedy golden wither finally lose its temperament of strolling in the garden. It was originally golden in color, and its wings all over its body exuded traces of blood red, and then rushed into the bottom of the sea. No one thought that this bird in the sky could enter the sea to fight. Afterwards, no one knows to what extent the two sides fought in the deep sea. However, in the video taken by Starlink, it was discovered that after both sides dived into the deep sea, wherever they fought, the sea would be turbulent. The waves are so high that they seem to go straight to the sky. Finally, today, that swift golden wither rushed out of the sea covered in blood, holding the terrifying crocodile in its sharp claws, that was too dead to die again. So this shocking battle between mutant creatures has finally come to an end, and it was revealed by interested people that after the comprehensive evaluation of the Science Alliance confirmed that the terrifying alligator had broken through its combat power had already reached the level of a world-destroying beast. This made the crowd even more uproar, because this means that the terrifying crocodile became the first world-exterminating beast to fall and died under the claws of the speedy golden bird. You must know that it was still in the sea of terrifying crocodiles, and was hunted and killed by the speedy golden bird. So at this moment, I don't know how many people are amazed at the terrifying and tyrannical fighting power of the super-fast golden wither, and the theological alliance, which is sitting on the lightning-fast golden wither protection method and announced the end of the 100 days, has once again attracted the attention of many people. Many people once again wondered in their hearts, is the theology preached by the theological alliance true? In today's world, is it true that science can no longer protect human beings? Otherwise, why would such a tyrannical speedy Jinzuo submit to the theological alliance? And why didn't the science alliance stand up to refute the rumors after the 100-day doomsday remarks were announced? It's just that science is a belief that many people have believed in for a lifetime, and it has helped mankind a lot in the past, so most people just have doubts in their hearts, and then they still focus on their busy life and work. And after the doomsday talk spread, the entire human society became busier than before. And just when everyone started to get busy, Su Lin in the southern mountain range is now condescendingly examining the many species that have surrendered from the top of Salaner Mountain. These include millions of rats of various kinds in the mountains of the southern border, hundreds of thousands of snakes, and more than 1,000 monster-level beasts gathered by the white butterflies, as well as 30,000 to 40,000 monster-level monsters beast. This almost includes most of the alien species in the southern mountains. The rest of those who hadn't surrendered and tried to resist had already turned into blood food, and were piled up in 2 caves where food was stored. The flesh and blood of ordinary species are stored in 1 cave, and the flesh and blood of heterogeneous species are piled up in another cave. In addition, because the temperature in the southern mountains is higher than that in the Arctic, it is difficult to store the flesh and blood of common species for a long time. That's why Su Lin left several original powers in the cave where ordinary flesh and blood are stored. His original power is accompanied by icy air, which can prevent these ordinary flesh and blood from deteriorating. The flesh and blood of common species can be used as the basic food supply for wolves. After coming out of the resource-poor region of the Arctic ice sheet, Su Lin is still used to making the best use of all available materials. Su Lin didn't want to waste even the flesh and blood of ordinary species, because once the dark era comes, no one can tell how much the world will change. Now there are 7.8 million tons of flesh and blood of common species stored in caves, and about 300,000 tons of flesh and blood of different species. At this time, Su Lin was condescendingly examining the silver ring viper, black rat, white butterfly and many other species under his command. It can be said that according to the reward rules announced by Su Lin during the wolf pack's 3-month period, all 3 of them have the qualifications to be promoted to high-ranking wolf packs. It's just that it was a reward rule for the old members of the original wolf pack. However, Su Lin was not stingy with them. For the silver ring vipers, black rats, and white butterflies who have made such great achievements and expanded the 3 parts of the wolf pack, Su Lin has directly stepped up several levels and promoted them to the status of ordinary wolf leaders, respectively commanding their subordinates' ethnic group. The status of an ordinary wolf pack is also extremely high among wolves, and it has the autonomy over the group under its command. As for the strange beasts under Bai Dai's command, during this period of time, Su Lin also promoted 10 beasts with the status of second wolves to assist Bai Dai in commanding them. The growth potential of these 10 alien beasts is also very monstrous. After all, they were selected from so many alien species in the southern mountains. Su Lin gave each of these 10 strange beasts code names. One of them, a fierce tiger covered in scars, has a strength attribute of level 33, which can be regarded as an existence close to the king level. This fierce tiger is extremely murderous and has extremely high combat power. It is a solitary beast. This fierce tiger has 4 major talents, among which the talent of ***** battle is similar to the talent of little lone wolf and wild wolf. They are both talents that become more courageous as they fight, and the more injured they are, the faster their combat power increases. Because this fierce tiger has great potential for growth, and it is obviously forced to submit to Bi by force. Therefore, Su Lin also used the soul link, rooted this fierce tiger into the spiritual soul line, and gave it the codename Evil Tiger. The Evil Tiger was regarded as the strongest beast besides the silver ring viper, black rat and white butterfly. The second beast is a marten with spiritual power, with a strength attribute of level 31, 3 major spiritual talents, and extremely good combat power. Because of its purple color, Surin gave it the code name Sable. The third beast is a level 30 brown bear with a body size of 17 or 8 meters. Bear's face has a scar that was cut open, and the code name given is Scarface Bear. The fourth beast is the vulture, which has a level 29 strength attribute. At the same time, he has an extremely heaven-defying talent, which can greatly improve his strength, and he was given the code name Condor Vulture. The fifth beast is a wild cat with a strength attribute of level 29, fierce and fierce. Code named Fierce Cat. As for the 6th to 10th alien beasts, all of them were at the 28th or 9th level of strength, and they all had great potential for growth. The code names are Grey Lin, Red Wolf, Mad Pig, Flower Fox, and Mad Cow. These 10 alien beasts all became Yilang, and under Bai Dai's command, they helped rule tens of thousands of alien beasts. After truly unifying the southern mountain range, Su Lin also discovered that the number of species in this southern mountain range alone is dozens of times greater than that of the entire Arctic ice sheet. The tens of thousands of alien beasts under Bai Dai's command now are stronger than the entire wolf pack when they first stepped out of the Arctic ice sheet. As for the high-end combat power, white butterflies, evil tigers and the like may lose to the invincible tiger, black blood daughter, Arctic Yanu, etc., but the mid-range combat power will definitely kill the wolves when they dare to step out of the Arctic ice sheet. But now it has been 2 months, and the wolves are expanding and killing without any restrictions, and their strength should have been unprecedentedly improved. As for what the wolves will look like when they gather again after the March period, Su Lin is also looking forward to it. After all, it was a pack of wolves that he pulled from the Arctic ice sheet. There are feelings far beyond these species and ethnic groups in the southern mountains, especially the little gray, nighthawk, red tail, jackal, charm fox, Arctic tern, invincible tiger, etc. Among the wolves all have a lot of evil potential as long as they don't fall during the conquest, after the arrival of the March period. The status of the high-ranking wolves in the wolf pack should have their place. In addition to the alien beasts led by the white butterfly, the snake group under the silver ring viper, and the rat group under the black rat, Su Lin also promoted several second wolves to assist in ruling the group together. Otherwise, among the hundreds of thousands of snakes and millions of rats, the number base is too huge, and it is difficult to control it with only silver ringed vipers and black rats. Su Lin promoted the 3 poisonous snakes and 4 giant pythons in the snake group to the second wolf status, and the 2 mental rats and 7 giant rats in the rat group were promoted to the second wolf status. The strengths of these alien species are all at the 28th or 9th level. These alien species are matched with groups of millions and hundreds of thousands. Once they swarm, they will definitely not be weaker than the alien beasts led by Bai Dai. After unifying the mountains in the southern border, the 3 forces that Su Lin harvested are not inferior to the wolves under his command. At this time, after Su Lin inspected the newly harvested 3 forces, a loud and long wolf howl accompanied by mental fluctuations spread in the area stretching for hundreds of miles. The loud and long howling of wolves resounded in the mountains and forests under the soft sunlight. Just after the howling of wolves came to an end, it was accompanied by the hissing of millions of species under his command. The neighing of millions of species is so massive that it is unimaginable. For Surin, although these species do not have the fanaticism and belief of the members of the wolf pack, but the aura of heavenly power spreading from Surin weighed heavily on the hearts of every species, coupled with the tragic slaughter caused by the silver ring viper, black rat and white butterfly in the southern mountain range. As a result, these species have endless fear of the wolf king on the top of the mountain from the bottom of their hearts. Under the fear, they naturally screamed desperately to express their loyalty to the wolf king, who is condescending and overlooking thousands of species. As for Su Lin standing on the high mountain, a pair of light blue wolf eyes scanned the many species below. With his mental and soul power at this time, he could feel the fear of the new members below, so another long howl sounded. He signaled D to take out 1/5 of the alien flesh and blood stored in the cave as a reward for many new members. Both kindness and majesty, whether it is in human society or in a herd of wild beasts drinking blood, this is the best way to subdue the members under their command. Since the slaughter of those who obeyed prospered, and those who rebelled died in the past 2 months had filled the hearts of these species with fear, it was time to distribute some rewards. 1/5 of the heterogeneous flesh and blood has a total of 60,000 tons, that is, hundreds of millions of caddies of heterogeneous flesh and blood. The large-scale distribution of these flesh and blood will not only strengthen the sense of belonging of these new members, but also allow these species to evolve faster. Only when the strength is strengthened can one have the qualifications and strength in the Dark Era to stand on the battlefield of all races for hegemony. At this time, as the white butterfly began to distribute the flesh and blood of different species, The species that gathered together and stretched for hundreds of miles all began to neigh again. There was some excitement in the neighing, because in the harsh nature, food has always been the top priority. Even in the resource-rich southern mountains, the same is true. All species are naturally grateful for this bounty of food. During the distribution of the white butterfly, Su Lin also took out more than 20 tons of flesh and blood of the new species again, and distributed them to the group of second wolves, and the 3 alpha wolves that he had promoted. Agkistrodon hollies, white butterflies and black rats are divided into 10 tons. As for the remaining 20-odd beasts of the second wolf status, they were divided into more than 10 tons. The flesh and blood of these new species contained pure energy that far surpassed that of other species of flesh and blood, so many rewards were enough for them to digest and absorb for a long time. The large-scale heterogeneous and new species of flesh and blood distributed by Su Lin this time, presumably can greatly improve the 3 forces that have been subdued. At this time, Su Lin inspected the top of Salaner Mountain for a while, and looked back at the many species, whose atmosphere was gradually becoming active in the reward, and looked back with satisfaction. Large-scale food rewards will inevitably give these species a sense of belonging and identity, but it will take a long time to really make the newly acquired 3 forces reach the level of loyalty, like a pack of wolves, that he has grown up with his own hands. After Su Lin looked away, he jumped down from the top of Salaner Mountain, and returned to the cave where he lived temporarily. The current Su Lin's combat power has also improved a lot compared to when he first entered the Nanjing Mountains, because a month ago, he used the talent serum to upgrade the 3 talents of Sirius Xiao, Soul Link and Bright Shelter to SS level. The 3 major talents all have a leap forward. Among them, Sirius Xiaoyu's sonic talent has reached 50 times the speed of sonic waves, and the attack range has reached 300 kilometers. This is 5 or 6 times stronger than the S-level Sirius Xiao. It can be said that this wave of promotion was successful, and completely put Sirius Xiao in the list of Su Lin's strongest talents. 50 times the speed of sound waves means a speed of 16,700 meters per second, which can cover 300 kilometers in almost a few tens of seconds. Whether it is the sweeping speed or the coverage area, it is far beyond the reach of current nuclear weapons. The most important thing is the killing power, which has increased from 70% of its peak attack power to 100%. So now SS Sirius Xiao, once deployed, can be called truly earth-shattering. In addition to Sirius Xiaoyu's talent, Light Protection and Soul Link have also been greatly enhanced. The SS level Light Protection can increase the defense by as much as 500%, and the accompanying species within a radius of 50 kilometers can also obtain the Light Shield, which has a large defense bonus. This kind of increase is far beyond the unique defensive talent of the Bear Clan, not to mention the accompanying overall defense bonus effect. With Su Lin's current defense power, combined with the protection of light, many species will see what it means to be truly indestructible.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.